And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 55, your weekly dose of WardiTV action. Whew, we are here, we are back, and I do apologize for the delayed start. We unfortunately did miss out on game number 1, but we are able to jump in mid-series into our first series of the broadcast. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Magnatha, we have our South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Italian Protoss player, the Italian Protoss himself, the Blue Protoss. It is Ducklings. For the Platinum Heroes, here we go. Oh. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our ZVT. Here we go. So I'm just trying to double check and figure out where we are to make sure that Rogue is indeed up 1-0. I'm not entirely. I have to. Let me just double check. Un momento. Yeah, so Rogue is up 1-0. We are jumping in mid-series. Again, a little unfortunate, we did miss out on game number 1. We did miss out on it. We were unable to catch it. Originally, we were actually going to be jumping into Beyond versus Trigger, but I believe Wardy jumped on that series, so we decided to give him some space and try to jump into a second series instead. By the time we did, well, we were a little bit too late. We're a little bit too late, but regardless, we're at least able to embrace game number 2. But now Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Rogue, likewise standard opener out of Ledlix as well. Standard openers all around as we do settle in. Also, as a reminder, unfortunately, we have a vanilla ladder map pool for this tournament for the WardiTV Monday, so that is unfortunate here. Just a vanilla map pool. I believe the TLMC tournament did conclude over the weekend, and I believe voting is finally open. Voting is finally open for the Team Liquid Map Contest number 21. After myself, I remember to vote as well. We'll most likely do so after this week's Tuna Cup, just to make sure we get as many games as possible, just so we get to experience some of those games as well. I'm also very tempted to maybe like kind of flick through and watch the Wardy tournament as well. I feel like there's a lot of games that occurred there, of course featuring a lot of maps, and I feel like I need to catch up on that. I guess we have the option to cast it via replays as well, but I don't know, we might just watch it. We'll see. We'll see. No. For now though, Stargate opener out of Ledlix, opening up Stargates as to be expected, getting to an Oracle, getting to a third base, everything's looking normal. Unfortunately, we missed out on game 1, so we don't really know what happened in the first game and how our players did kind of approach each other and how we're going to be adjusting coming into game 2. Now we're feeling each other out. Now we're calming down. The Oracle is on the way. Their base is being taken. Again, everything's looking normal so far from the side of Ledlix. And I'm really excited to see kind of how Rogue can approach this. I guess I have something to get into is the bracket itself. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Have a look at the bracket. The bracket is stacked, and this week we actually are featuring a decent chunk of Zerg players. We have Rogue, we have Lambo, we have Solar as well. So I'm really excited to see how they fare and how they've been able to evolve over time. I know that Zerg players have been having a really hard time this patch, especially in the ZVP matchup, and we'll see if that trend continues. Just because of how much more powerful Storm is, how it's being used as a zoning tool, and how easier it is to be more defensive and turtle up. Coming into this, there's a skill disparity, and Rogue is still the favorite player here, but we'll see how Ledlix will approach this, as he's going for a faster Robo. Hello. With a faster Robo here, it could be Prism into Temple Archives. Are we going for a delayed Archon drop? It's been a while. Has been a while here. Yep, there it is. War Prison's on the way. We're expecting a Temple Archives. We're expecting a delayed Archon drop. Okay. This is a build that did permeate throughout the European scene. Yep, there it is, Temple Archives. So again, Twilight Council into Robo Screams Archons. The way you go about this is you're going for a delayed drop because we're not going into DTs, we're going into a Temple Archives instead. To open High Templar to go for the Archon drop across the map. This is a way to keep the Zerg player busy while you build up into Charge the Archon back at home. It's a way to gain map control, it's a way to harass. And here comes the Prism, here come the Archons. As Temple Archives is almost done, it's lined up, or by the time the Prism gets across the map, Ling will scout the War Prism. Rogue is aware. As the Prism moves out, the Lings, they move in. We do have a Stasis Trap, we do have one Adept. Shield Battery is on the way. And Rogue, he will bait out the Stasis. Not bad. Does bait out, it does get eyes on the War Prism. Lings are reacting where the Archon, that does not work in the Archon in time. And the Archon drop is delayed. Oh, even more than usual here. It is going to be delayed quite a bit. This entire time, Archons, they should be harassing, but right now we just kind of warp them in for Cerebral, and Rogue is going for the Bane Bust. He's going for the Bane Bust. He's cutting workers here at 41. He's undersaturated here on his third base. Fake drones, fake saturation. Oh, Banelings, they crash into the gateway. They don't get any damage done. But there's no storm. Yeah, there's no storm. Baneling crashes into the mineral line. Where are the Archons, Pappy? Yeah, the Archons are just so delayed, so late. And even though the Banelings didn't really do any damage at the natural, it doesn't matter because the third is going to go down. Third base is going down. Banelings, they try to crash in. Lelix is stuck on two bases, and the third is going to fall. Ay. Yeah, just a really rough start here for Lelix. He was unable to warp in Archons, unable to deal damage across the map, and likewise unable to defend back at home either, as he still had no Archons, even defensively back at home. And with that, Rogue can just chill. He can just chill, back off. Now he can start droning. He was committed with 41 workers earlier, but now he's droning up to 56. Now he's taking up into the lair, into the Roach Horn. He's getting into a longer game state. And Lelix, he still has a ways to go. From here, he's turning this into a 2-base all-in. Makes sense. I mean, what else can you do here? So we have 8 gates in production alongside the 3 that are already done. Oh, we have a 9th gateway on the way. Jesus. So getting up to 12 gateways. This expansion should never finish. Jordan will never complete. And we're waiting for the gateways to kick in. Gateways to kick in, and for Lelix to just send everything across the map. He's slowly building up those Archons over time, which should be ideal against Ling Bane. The problem, though, is that Rogue, he's building up his Roach army, which is exactly what he needs. So it's going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Going to have a much more robust army to work with. Lings, they peel off towards the third. Main army's moving in. Go for the warping here on the front lines. Zealots are getting on top of the Zealots. Where's the Ling Bane? Ling Bane's out of position. Okay. Lelix making the most out of this push. Breaks through the first line of Roaches, but he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He has no warp-ins. Prism goes down. And Rogue, he will clean this up. GG gets called, and Rogue will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue, he will claim the series. He will advance on into the next round, and now we can catch up on what the next round is going to be. Let's go. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Lelix. Lelix, of course, he is a great player in his own right, but again, Rogue is one of the best Zerg players in the world, so it was a tough opponent to go up against. Winding it back when it came to the build itself, Lelix, he did go for a delayed Archon drop. He went for the Twilight Council into Robo into Templar Archives. This has a lot of potential. It can do a lot of damage, but if you remember, he never got to morph in the Archons. Lings that were there to deny the High Templar. They were there to ensure that the warping never occurred, that the morph never occurred, and he was just caught with his pants down, right? He couldn't harass across the map. He couldn't force supply to stay at home. And Rogue, he was committing on 41 workers into his own Bane Bust. Didn't break the natural, but broke the third. GG. GG, well played. With that, Rogue, he will claim the series. Meanwhile, big shout out to Inko0 in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it, as we are heading on over and we're catching up on the rest of the bracket as we have our next series. We have our next opponent. From the top, we do have not really many updates here, as we just started. We just began the tournament. We have MaxPax waiting for the winner of Beyond and Trigger. Wardy is covering that series. We were going to cover it as well, but again, Wardy has dibs. So we, of course, did look for another series. So Beyond versus Trigger into MaxPax. We have Geralt versus Mana in a PvP. We have Uwu Thermal waiting for the winner of Lambo and Rebellion. I believe that is being covered by Steadfast. So Steadfast is covering the Lambo Rebellion series into Thermal. Meanwhile, we have Ryung versus Ragnar into Solar. We have Rogue versus Lelix just wrapped up into Classic. That is our next series. So we're going to be following Rogue into Classic in the round of 16. Un momento. But that is our next series. Vetoes are currently underway. Beautiful. Scrolling down, we have Percival. Percival is up against Dure. Percival is up against his opponents when it goes up against herO in the next round. We have Nickrat, and Nickrat gets a walkover over a triple up against Bunny in the next round. That's going to be a TVT rematch from the Sparkling Tuna Cup. And we have Clem versus Mucus when it goes up against Creator in the round of 16. So slowly but surely the bracket is progressing. We have our regular heavy hitters, and we have some irregulars showing up as well. So we have our regulars in MaxPax, we have herO, we have Classic, and we have Clem. Those are the typical top four. So Classic, herO, MaxPax, and Clem. Those are who we expect to make it far in this tournament. Intermix, of course, we have some other big names like Beyond, we got Trigger, we got Lambo, we got Solar, Rogue, of course, Bunny, Nickrat, Percival, Geralt. So best of luck to all the other competitors here. As I just realized, actually, Classic, herO, and Clem are all on the same side of the bracket. Oh, that is brutal seeding. Okay, so MaxPax is a heavy favorite to make it to the finals, to be honest. He's a heavy favorite to make it to those finals. As the other kind of big competitors are all on the other side of the bracket instead. Of course, we still have some of the contenders like your Solar, Ryung, Lambo, Beyond as well. But I would say that MaxPax is favored amongst them. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the other competitors against MaxPax. Scrolling down between Classic, herO, Clem, and the other players in the bottom half of the bracket, I mean, this can go either way. And I don't want to gloss over Rogue. True, Rogue is also here. Rogue, we'll see what he brings to the table. We'll see how he has adjusted to the new patch. So loading into Persephone as we have our fresh series. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Representing Protoss Pro, it is Classic. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. We go, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, Classic is going to be coming in as the favorite player here, but Rogue, he definitely has it in him to take maps and to take series as well, but he has to bring his A game. Like, he's going to be on point, he's going to be informed to bring down Classic. Let's go as we open up with a hatch block. So proxy hatchery across the map, drone is being sent out, and we'll see if Classic can get some extra damage done here. So bearing in mind, he does open up hatch first back at home into the hatchery across the map. This is to force a reaction, to force boys to be pulled and delay mining for Classic. As here comes the hatchery. So hatchery gets thrown down. From here, boys should be pulled alongside the Zealot. As Rogue is going to be droning, you can see here there's no spawning pool, there's no gases, and Classic, he opts to go for no shot. He's going for the unnatural natural. A bold move. Okay, bold move here by Classic. So basically, he's going to ignore this. He's going to ignore the hatchery here. He is chronoing out a Zealots, but he refuses to pull the boys. Typically, in a standard game, you'd pull like 6 probes, 6 to 7 workers. You'd pull them to focus on the hatchery, and then you'd also have the Zealot to help support as well, to force a cancel to expand on location at your natural location, at your natural expansion. Classic, he opts not to pull the boys, so he will not lose any mining. He does still make the Zealot, but he's going for the third base location. He's going for the unnatural natural instead. bold move. It is a really bold move. It does mean that the store base is very exposed. It means that Rogue can pull off an all-in. The Overlord does poke in. The Overlord should be aware. He hasn't confirmed yet, but he should be aware that, hey, if you decide not to pull the boys, if you're staying on a setup like this, there should be an expansion elsewhere. So Rogue, he should be aware. Does let the hatchery finish. Behind this, Ling production has begun. Ling speed is on the way. We're pulling out of gas, so we're not going for a Bane Bust. We're not going for a Roach Rush. Just Lings, and we'll see if we drone behind this. We should make enough Lings to at least deny the natural expansion, though. To deny this space. Yeah, we're Ling flooding. So here comes a Ling Flood. Shield batteries on the way. The Adept is going to be behind the wall. Things are rallying in. Things are rallying into the main base. So far, Classic, he defends well. Hasn't lost a probe yet. He hasn't lost a probe yet. And Lings, they will hit the shield battery. And the Ling Flood continues. Like, Rogue, he's all in. Rogue, at this point, he's all in. Hatchery goes down. Nice round on the Zealot. Very nice round. No shield battery here at the natural, and the pylon is exposed. Now, this pylon should survive, but without a shield battery here to defend, Rogue, he can break this. He can break this. Adept's out in the open. Ooh, nice shade. Nice control. Adept does wall off. It does wall with the Adept. Re-walls behind it. Adept say Kai back, but there's no shield battery here at the natural, and again, there's no shield battery at the, at either base, I should say. At the third or the natural location. And we'll see what Rogue can get done. Going for the Adepts, he will get both. The Oracle was here to support. A little bit of a late reaction there by Classic. Stargate's under fire. And the shield battery, can we save the Stargate? We can! Ooh, that was a big investment for Rogue. How many Lings have gone down so far? 30. Oof. 30 Zerglings have gone down. So far, hasn't been worth it, but the Oracle's out of energy. Remember, energy overcharge was nerfed, so the Oracle has been nerfed. But the second. Never mind. Second Oracle has arrived. Shield battery goes down, but the Lings are dealt with. At least for the time being. Once again, though, we're running out of energy. Classic is running out. Yeah, he's now dry with the Oracles. More Lings are flooding. There's another Oracle on the way, but it's still not out yet. There's the energy overcharge. Okay. Oof. Losing probes. Losing 3 workers. Rogue, he has not made a drone since the beginning of the game. He's still on 22. Still 22 workers. Now we have a third Oracle. And Classic has to hold on to that energy, sorry, to the pulsar beam. Let's hold on to it. Doesn't want to waste it. Shield battery under fire. Sorry, the Stargate's under fire. Does bring it down. Okay, not bad. Stargate does fall. Classic, he expands behind this. Let's go. And Classic takes the lead. At this point, I mean, Rogue, he had to kill the third, and he fails to. He fails to kill the third base. It was a very tense defense, and there was a moment where I felt like Rogue was almost going to break through, but the energy overcharge kicked in. Another Oracle arrived as well. With triple Oracle, Classic, he defends. The Lings are keeping him busy, at least. And Rogue is behind. Rogue has a lot of droning to do. He's been stuck on a very low drone count, and he invested into how many Lings have gone down so far? 84. Oof. 84 Zerglings. For how many probes? 6. For 6 probes, 2 shield batteries, a Stargate, 4 Adepts. Like, it just has not been worth it for Rogue. Spore's finishing up, which means one of the Oracles does not go down. Gets very low, though. Speaking of. Yeah, the Oracle overextends. I should say Classic overextends. Oracle goes down for 5 drones. Not quite worth it there for Classic. I say not quite worth it. At the same time, Rogue is struggling economically. So any worker killed means actually that much more in this game state. Because Rogue is just so starved for cash. So strapped for cash. And we're going for a Glaive to follow up. I really like this. I think this is really smart. And Classic knows that Rogue is in a desperate position. He knows that Rogue is broke. He knows that Rogue is very low tech. As you can see, no lair. No lair, only 1 gas geyser. What does that mean? means that there's no gas-intensive units. There's no roaches, there's no banelings. Roach Warren just now begins, but Mass Adept can and should overwhelm Rogue. I'll be shocked if Rogue can survive this, as Rogue has a lot of recovering to do, and he needs time. And that's the key thing here. If Rogue can somehow delay the push, if he can if he can harass some of these bases and keep Classic busy, then maybe he can buy enough time for some roaches, but outside of that, oh, yeah, Lings are being zoned away. Here comes Classic, and oh boy, that is going to be 13 adepts moving across the map. Now we have 20 Zerglings on the way. If Rogue can surround, if Rogue can deal with this, but at the same time, we have Oracles to support. The Oracles, as long as they stay with the adepts, they should deny the surround. Oh, they overextend. The Oracles, they take a lot of hits, they take a lot of damage. Lings, they try to engage. Station Trap on the way. And Classic is busting his way into the natural. He breaks down the front door. He busts in. Roaches are popping out. Ooh, Stasis does graze the army. Another lackluster Stasis here in the natural. But Lings are still falling. Yeah, Lings are still going down. Gets into the mineral line, and drones are falling. And this is critical damage. Classic is snowballing out of control. He gets 10 drone kills. Does catch the roaches. 11 drones going down. He's still not done. Can shade into the natural. Still has the oracles as well. And Classic, he got away with it. Classic, he got away with the unnatural. Natural was a bold move, and again, I feel like the third base should have gone down, but Classic, he defended very well. Oof. 10, we're getting up to 20 drones. Ah, no. 20 drones going down. And we're still not done, Pappy. We have another wave of Eps coming. Ah, no. Not like this. As Classic moves out. Behind this is building up Immortals, getting into Blink, +1, Temple Archives on the way. And Rogue doesn't really have anything left. Rogue is all in. So Rogue, he's at 42 drones, and as you can see on the production tab, he's not redroning, because he knows he can't, right? He knows that there's no point in redroning, because at this point, economically, he's already dead. So the only shot, the only chance he has is all in. So he's making purely Lings. Purely Lings, purely Roaches. His goal here is to deal with these adepts and then just go across the map and hope that he can end the game. One way or the other, either he kills Classic or he dies trying. It is the one chance for Rogue. But first things first, he has to deal with the adepts. Like, you can see just they're still dealing damage. Crippling the economy even further, weakening the all-in. Here comes Rogue. Again, he can't waste his time with the adepts. He just can't. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Rogue. And even then, it might just be too late. Now, Storm is only halfway done, so Storm is a non-factor. But there's 3 Immortals. That's a lot of Immortals. Yeah, Queens, they drop in. We got the German taxi. Oracle goes down. And Roaches are getting on top of the Immortals. Storm is done in 10 seconds. 1 Immortal goes down, not bad. He gets 1, he gets 2. 2 Immortals fall. Lack of kiting here from Classic. Again, he was barely out of range of the shield batteries. That was on Classic. Miscontrol. As now he finally pulls back to one of them, but not the other. But GG gets called. He defends anyway. And Classic, he takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Classic. He will claim the first game here. Winding it back as a reminder, what happened this game, Rogue, he went for the hatch block, and Classic did something that is very unorthodox. He decided to leave it alone. He left the hatch block alone, and he opted to expand at the 3rd location instead of the natural, which should be the death of the natural base. It should be the death of that expansion. That should be the case, but as we saw, Rogue, he attempted to link flood, he attempted to break that expansion, but he barely couldn't. It was a really clutch hold. It was a really clutch hold there from a Classic. You could see that the Oracles, they were running out of energy. He was barely hanging on. He had the energy overcharge, which was barely enough as well. The shield batteries, they were tanking. The Stargate, he was able to hold on to it to crank out a 3rd Oracle. With triple Oracle, he was able to shut it down and defend. GG. And after that defense, that was essentially game. That was essentially game then and there. There was a chance for Rogue to all in. There was a chance for Rogue to try to end it a little bit early, but last he kind of stumbled his way into the mid game. He had a really hard time, especially after the Glaive Adepts, of course, and GG. And now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Magnatha, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg player himself representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. Again, the pressure is on Rogue. He is the underdog coming into this series, and we're expecting an all-in from him again. A different kind of all-in, of course. This time he's not going for a hatchery block, but we're expecting to see him go for like 3 bases and look to max out as well. But as I mentioned before, all-ins are a lot weaker now coming into the new patch. Storm is just such a powerful zoning tool, and it will help a lot more when it comes to defending. What I will say though is that especially with the added change that we just had, with Storm doing a little bit less damage in the hotfix, I have yet to see how good Lingbane can be. So what I'm getting at, so winding it back, we did have a hotfix a couple of days ago. It's been less than a week. We had a hotfix where the damage was reduced for Storm, and what that means specifically for this matchup is that now Lingbane will have more HP getting through a Storm. That's what's important. So specifically in regards to 3-base Lingbane Hydra all-ins, that's what's going through my mind at least. The ability for the Lingbane to actually survive a Storm and to get on top of the High Templar now is higher. Right now there's a higher chance, a higher probability of that happening, and we'll see if that is going to be enough. We'll see if that's going to be enough to get on top of the Templar, to break them, and to be able to successfully all in. That's what I'm most curious about, seeing that dynamic of Lingbane Hydra, like 3-base all in versus a turtling Protoss player. I'm leaning towards that. That's what we're going to be seeing here, but we'll see. We shall see. As for now, Rogue is going to be droning, setting up on 2 bases. I do know that before the hotfix, Lingbane was I say Lingbane, specifically the Baneling was barely surviving the Storm, like with 5 HP, like just barely, thanks to the upgrade, thanks to the HP boost, the HP bonus. Banelings were barely surviving and barely able to try to engage. Of course, they survived the Storm, but typically, it's not just Storm, right? You have Stalkers, you have Archons, you have Immortals, you have more supportive units that was able to deal with it. But we'll see how that looks in the hotfix, just because I haven't seen that dynamic since the hotfix. So Classic does threaten the shade, keeping eyes on Rogue. So far, Rogue, he's just droning, getting a 3rd expansion. Likewise, Classic going for Stargate into Oracle into a 3rd base. Again, when it comes to ZVP, it hasn't really changed much at all when it comes to the builds, when it comes to the openers, aside from the strength of Lingbane, right? Beforehand, you would often go just Ling Hydra. You would just skip Banelings. You just skip Banelings entirely and just go Ling Hydra into Lurker, or go Ling into, I mean, there were some builds where you can go into Ultras, but mainly into Lurker tech, getting to a longer game, or just going for Ling Hydra all-ins. Now going into Lingbane is more viable. As this is getting out of hand already. 5 drones, 7. Oh boy, 7 drones go down for what? For 2 adepts. That is a very strong start for Classic. And Rogue, he stumbles his way into the early mid game here. 7 drones going down. Lings, they poke in across the map. They don't get much done. And Classic starts off with a lead. Behind this, we do have our Forge, Twilight Council, relatively standard follow-up here into +1 and Blink. Rogue is going for the early Evo Chamber. This should be for +1 melee in towards Lingbane, I would assume. Before this patch, I would assume Ling Hydra, but as I mentioned, Banelings are now more effective. Do you see that? Is that a bug? That is. That doesn't. What? what just happened? Okay. Did Classic? Oh wait, no, it's queued up. Okay. I was a little bit confused. I was like, what? I was like, what am I looking at? It was a queued up stasis trap. Okay. I was very perplexed. The Oracle is going to be zoned away. And so far, it's going to be another 5 drone kills. Did one of the Oracles go down? Yeah, the Oracle did go down in the main. Oh. This Classic is going to be zoned away. And here, Classic hero extends a little bit, but he does get another 5 drone kills. In total, it's going to be 12 drones, 7 lings for 3 adepts and 1 oracle. Losing that oracle in the main base was brutal. That's one of the downsides of queuing up something like a stasis trap, is that the oracle, because it's queued up, will go in and you have to be attentive to pull it back. And here we have our follow-up. So Classic still in a superior position, and I was curious, okay, Rogue, he is getting a 4th base, and with the infestation bit on the way, this tells us that he's droning. So he's not going for a 3 base all in. So no 3 base all in, he's droning up towards a 4 base economy. He's taking up in towards Hive Tech, which means we're leaning towards lurkers. We're leaning towards lurker tech here from the side of Rogue. Hydra upgrades are on the way. So Roki's building up into a 4 base setup. Meanwhile, Classic, he's going to be also getting up to 4 bases and working towards Storm. Storm is almost done. And we'll see what Rogue can get done with this power spike. So there's going to be a big power spike when the Lurker Den finishes and when the Lurker upgrades kick in. That's going to be a big moment here for Rogue, as he should get up to a proper 4 base setup here, up to 80 plus workers. Meanwhile, Classic back at home, he's building up those storms. And it's going to be on Classic to refine his army to set up. Now, what I will say is that this is a pretty accessible map here for Rogue. Welcome to Maganatha. Maganatha is a very large map, but also the bases are spread out. So there are very wide entrances into the bases as well. This is not like Tokamak, right? If we were loading into Tokamak, I would heavily favor Classic. I would even want Classic to just throw down a Stargate, like a Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, and get ready for Sky Toss. He could totally pull that off. But here on Maganatha, the bases are a little more accessible, and that means that Classic has to respect this that much more. I say that, there it is, Fleet Beacon and Stargate. This is a little bit risky. As I just mentioned, I would 100% champion this on some of the more defensive maps out there. On a map like Maganatha, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but maybe I'm not respecting Storm enough. Maybe Storm is good enough where, like, nah, you can just go straight for Sky Toss from here and you can just defend. We'll see. We'll see if Classic can make it. We'll see if Classic can get away with rushing into Sky Toss. We'll see if the Lurkers can actually be made use of. As I mentioned, there's going to be a big power spike here where Rogue has Lurkers and Classic doesn't have Sky Toss. There's going to be a window, I should say, a window of opportunity for Rogue. Lurkers are morphing in, Lurker upgrades are on the way, and Rogue, he should soon be pushing. Now, once again, one of the big advantages of Maganatha is this area here. You could push into the bases and you can see a wall of side defense, cannons and shield batteries, but the other avenue of attack is here in between the bases, which is why we have a field of stasis traps. So this would be the other angle of attack. Classic, he's fully secure here at the 3rd base, at the 4th base. Yeah, Classic, he's ready. Yeah, he's ready. Stasis goes up, does catch the Lurkers. Carrier production has begun. I'm not too fond of going Carrier first. Personally, I prefer going into Tempest. Ooh, 1 Lurker goes down instantly. He gets 1, he gets 2. Yeah, 2 Lurkers go down. Brutal Storms as well. Lings, they try to engage. And Rogue, I feel like he has to get out of here. He just doesn't have any support for the Lurkers. No Observer. Yeah, no Observer. Free damage. Losing 1. Losing, up to 2 at Templar. There's Revelation. And we're running out of storms. We have, what, 2 storms left? Oh, Jesus, a brutal storm of the Lurkers. You can't just stand on the storms anymore, Pat. They last a long time. Oof. Yeah, so many Lurkers are going down. And remember, as Lurkers are falling, we're building up the Sky Toss. Tempests are amassing. If you remember, I was a little bit concerned about the Carrier. It looks like Classic was as well. He canceled the Carriers going into Tempest. This is a superior setup here. Just building up Tempests. Forget about the Carriers. Oh, Classic overextends. Leads out a couple of Zealots. Tempest and that revealed. And Rogue, he has to end it. He has to go in. He can't back up. He's down to 3 lurkers. Ooh. And Brutal Storm. And Brutal Storm lurker goes down. We got 1 lurker with the main army. Lings, they're getting on top of the High Templar. Templar goes down, no more storms. Okay, no more storms, no more storms. And we spoke about this specific angle of attack here. We ignore the 4th base, we ignore the 3rd base, and we go straight down middle. We go straight down mid instead. Rogue, he makes his way through, getting on top of the 3rd. And again, this is more unique to Maganatha. The central area. Tempest will clean this up though, and Rogue, he broke through the main army, he reset the High Templar, but he hasn't gotten any economic damage yet. I mean, he's denying mining, sure. He's denying mining. There's the 1 storm. Oof. Yeah, he stands in the storm a little bit too long. Hydras are trying to get under those Tempests. Hydras are trying to get in. Mothership, oh jeez, the Mothership has arrived, and Rogue, sorry, Classic holds. Classic holds, he will shut this down. He's lacking detection. That's the one thing here. No detection. Which means Cloak isn't really going to be made use of. Instead, coming in from behind and catching up the Hydras. At the same time, lurkers, they get into the mineral line. It's a lot of Hydras going down. Probes are finally going to be falling. Oh my god, the things are cracked. 18 probes. 18 probes go down. Thanks to the lurkers, thanks to the Ling run-by as well. And the question becomes, is this enough damage? Now, if it wasn't for the economic damage, I would say that Classic would be in a better position, but that was 26 probes going down. That was a lot of workers falling. And Rogue back at home, he's rebuilding. He's rebuilding this time with Corruptors. So building up his Lurker Corruptor army. And again, he was able to make use of, again, the center area, center attack path. Now, what's scary is that Classic didn't lose a single... Oh, sorry, he lost 1 Tempest. He lost one Tempest in the defense. But he is perfecting his army. Oh, he's out of position. This time, no cannons. Yeah, no cannons to defend. The Lings, they get in. This base is being abused. He needs to rebuild that type defense. He needs those cannons, needs those shield batteries. If he wants to move out, I should say. And here they come. Gets a lurker. Now, when it comes to what Rogue is building up, he's still lacking upgrades. I mean, because he was essentially committed, he was all in with his 4 bases, so his upgrades have fallen by the wayside. He's got +1 air attack finishing up, he's got +1 range, he's got +2 melee. He does not have Adrenal, but he has the quantity at least. He's got 3 Vipers and 20 Corruptors. He has plenty of anti-air. And Classic is lacking that supportive army on the ground. He needs more Archons. Again, when it comes to late game Protoss compositions, it isn't just about Skytoss, it's about that supportive army with Archons and High Templar. It is crucial that they're there to be able to zone away the Corruptors. Remember, Corruptors, they didn't shoot down, and they're prone to clumping. So ideally, you want to bait the army in, you want to kite the Corruptors over the Archons, and make use of those storms to zone away the Corruptors as well. Nidus into the main. Classic out of position. Does he notice? Ooh, no reaction. Yeah, there we go. Does warp in. Main army here towards the 3rd. Just getting caught out. Getting on top of the lurkers. Decent storms. Corruptors are going for the dive. Here they go for the dive. There are, what, 3 Archons available. And Corruptors are going down. They do take down some of the Tempests, though. When I say some, almost all. 2 Tempests survive. Corruptors, they do fall. At the same time, Nidus was dealt with. No detection. Wow, once again, no detection for Classic. He can't see, papi. The lurkers are left alone. Yeah, lurkers are moving in. We need detection, papi. They're trying to avoid those lurkers. They're coming in with the surround. Yeah, Hydras are coming from behind. They get a surround of the army. And Classic, he'll lose everything. Classic, he should lose everything here. Just too many angles of attack. Carriers are going down. Tempers are going down as well. And with that, Rogue, he will clean up the army. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take the game here on Maganatha. Tie things up 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue does tie things up. Again, winding it back here, it all came down to that initial defense. If you recall, I did mention that I felt like Classic was a little bit greedy, taking up as quickly as he was into Skytoss. If you recall, I was bringing up the fact that, like, oh, you know, on Tokamak, on some of these more defensive maps, you can do this, you can pull this off, but it is more risky to do this on Maganatha, specifically because of how open it is in comparison, specifically because that center area, that center pathway in between the natural, the third, and the fourth, which is exactly what Rogue made use of. He was able to, he couldn't break any of the main bases, but he was able to sip in between them, and despite that, it was still very close, still very, very close, until Rogue did what? Until he killed 26 probes. Remember, 26 workers went down. That was when he peeled off 2 lurkers into the natural, and when he got Lings into the third base as well. He killed 26 workers, he crippled Classic's economy, and Classic couldn't quite build up, and he couldn't quite be active on the map, allowed Rogue to max out himself, and to keep that pressure on. GG. GG, well played. Whew, so again, a really risky kind of play there from Classic. He didn't get away with it, but now, speak of the devil, now we're loading into Tokamak, a much more defensive map in the map pool. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. Here we go, as we're getting into the ace match here, and welcome to Tokamak. And at a glance, Tokamak might seem a little bit similar to Maganatha. It is a large map in the map pool, that is true, but has some very distinct differences here. We have our standard second, third, and fourth base setup. We have our 4 bases, but when it comes to that avenue in between the bases here, it is very different, as we have rocks. We have these rocks here that do completely wall off this location, which means how many angles of attack do you have to defend on 4 bases? Only 2. Only 2. 1 entrance here into the triangular third, and 1 entrance into the linear third base. Whereas on the previous map on Maganatha, the triangular third had 2 entrances, if you recall, and the center area was also open up as well. Was more open, was more exposed. It isn't just that there are rocks here, it's also high ground. So rocks plus high ground plus more high ground further on as well. So there's multiple layers of elevation, which means that this entire area is much more defendable. And likewise, less attack paths as well, which is why we often see on this map it is much easier to defend and to turtle up and to max out on 4 bases. So this is the most defensive map in the map pool. So when it comes to Classic style, if we see the same build, the same style at a Classic, it is going to be more effective here on Tokamak. Now, Rogue knows this. Rogue, he knows that, again, defensive play is more difficult to break here on Tokamak, so we should be seeing either earlier aggression out of Rogue, or we should be seeing maybe something different, something like Mutaplay. True, right? The Spire was buffed in the most recent patch, does take less time to produce, and Mutaplay is accessible, it is viable here in ZVP, only if it goes unscattered though. True, right? Like, it's something that you can mix it into a series, and it can be effective on these larger maps if you can keep it hidden from your opponent. So something like Spire play, or again like a 3-base all-in, German taxi, like hyper aggressive play. You can try to take it to the late game here against Classic, but again, you're gonna have a harder time pulling that off, and I don't really expect Rogue to take that route, but we'll see. We'll see. He might just get a 4th, drone up to 80, and take up in a hive, and go for lurkers again. It is possible. So I would say that the onus is on Rogue here. I think we're all expecting Classic to just play the same, just go for the same style, go for the same build. It's more on Rogue to adapt, to adjust, to adapt. Go. Players are settling in. Classic taking his 3rd, going for a Stargate, open it into Oracle. getting into his early game. And again, I would say that Classic had a much better start. He had a much better start. He was able to kill 12 drones across the map. He lost 1 Oracle in the process. Lost a handful of Adepts. In general, Classic had a really nice start on Maganatha. It was just the follow-up. It was just the greed and the attempted defense on 4 bases while rushing into Skytoss. It was a bold move out of Classic. Oh, and that is a much faster Twilight Council this time. But if we see a Forge, okay, never mind. So Forge on the way, so +1 and Blink. +1 and Blink out of Classic. In my mind, the later Forge was a little bit suspicious, but it's still on the way. The Oracles they poke in. A bit of an overextension here. 5 drones go down. One of the Oracles is very low. They're taking a lot of hull damage, and ooh, does go down. But a miscontrol there from Classic. He did veer too far here to the Queens. Too far to the right. And Rogue is going for a much faster lair. Okay, so a couple of things here. What did we see last game? Last game we saw past Evo Chamber into +1 melee. This time, what do we have? We have the Evo Chamber, that is true. We have the Roach Warren, but we're going into the faster lair, and we are delaying any kind of upgrade on the Evo Chamber. Show us what you got. Gases are being taken. Are we going for the Spire? I mean, hey, we brought up Mutaplay at the beginning of this game for a reason. +1 melee. Taking all 6 gases. Show us the Spire. Show us what you got. I mean, technically it could be a Hydroden, true. The Hydras, and there it is. It's going to be a Baneliness and a Hydroden. Looks like there was a bit of a cancellation here, but we are committing into a faster Hydroden. Okay. Now, last game, there was no Baneliness. There was no Baneliness, if you recall. It was purely Ling into Hydra into Lurker tech. The fact that we're getting a Baneliness in a second Evo Chamber, it means that we're going to be delaying the Infestation Bit this time. We're delaying the Infestation Bit. We're going to be delaying Lurkers in favor of a more committed mid-game army, in favor of Banelings. So we might just go for a Ling Bane Hydra all in. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the saturation. Meanwhile, Classic is getting a 4th base. We should be seeing, Gateway Explosion, Cannon Explosion, just cannons, shield batteries, more cannons, more shield batteries. It's going to be on Classic to survive, to defend. Storm is done. And we'll see when Rogue does decide to cut workers. And again, last game by now, what would we have? We'd have an Infestation Bit, right? And we would have already been talking about the potential like Lurker tech and the Lurker kind of power spike that Rogue would have. That's what we were discussing. Here instead, Rogue will cut workers at 75 at under 4 base saturation, and he is maxing out on Ling Bane Hydra. Meanwhile, Classic is taking up into Skytoss. Once again, as you mentioned, like we expected Classic to just go for the same style. The same style 2 games in a row, but this is going to be stronger on this map. Oh, Rogue is going for the Infestation Pit. So what's worrying me here, as Adept say shade in, is that this is late. It's a late pick compared to last game. Why is that? Well, we did mention because of the investment into the second Evo Chamber, into the Baneliness as well, into this mid-game army, into Ling Bane Hydra. Now, if we don't make use of this army, then again, Rogue, he's just going to be 1 step behind in terms of his economy, in terms of his tech. Because this was a big investment. This could have been earlier drones. This could have been earlier drones, earlier Infestation, earlier Lurker Den. And we got to make use of this army. We're going in. And Rogue keeps pushing. Ling Bane towards the right, knocking down the rooks. There's a first storm, zoning away. Break down those rooks. Behind this Spire is a very fast Spire. No Lurker Den. Okay. No Lurker Den. Going for the Spire. Have my attention. Verg, he doesn't commit in. He does force a reaction, and some links get Shut down by those rocks. And we are forcing, again, a massive wall of cannons, massive wall of shield batteries. Classic is turtling up and maxing out. Very nice contamination. And we're opening Carrier this time, which should be fine against Lingbane Hydra. Again, Tempest is superior against Lurker-based armies, but again, there's no Lurker Den. There's no Lurker Den. Hive is finishing up. Spire is finishing up as well. No Lurkers. Which means Rogue is going to be vulnerable, actually. Yeah, we're rushing into the Greater Spire. Bold move. We'll see if Classic pushes. We'll see when he pushes. It's a better way of putting it. As Rogue's end goal is to rush into Broodlords instead. Very different approach. Going for the Ultra Cavern as well. Okay. Taking up into Ultras. We have a Bane drop here on the right-hand side. We'll see how quickly Classic does react. Rogue distracts on the left-hand side as well. Going for the expansion. You got the Banelings. Classic does pull away. It pulls away in time. Shot towards the natural. Oh no! Oh my god. Yeah, it did pull away in a bit of an awkward manner. But it will only lose 3 probes. Only 3 probes go down. In the end, Classic he defends. Lingbane moving in. Classic is out of position. He rotated over towards his 4th base, and he will lose the center expansion. Center base goes down. Now, Classic, he hasn't scattered across the map, but he's already going for 2 more Robos. Triple Robo Massive Mortar production. Very good read here from Classic. He's assuming that Ultras are on the way, and they are. But he is unaware about the Broodlords. That is where Tempest would be, they would fare better here against Broodlords. Better than the Carriers, I mean. Yeah, we're just setting up the Spore Forest. So Rogue, he's embracing the late game. Which means Classic will max. He's still perfecting his army. I'm still not in love with this composition. Like, he's got a really nice Archon count. He's got some High Templar. He is set up for Immortals. But the commitment into Carrier is not ideal. Once again, out of position. Once again, that's the 2nd time the space has been denied. So really nice denials here from Rogue. Slowing down the expansion. Going for another run by. Going straight for the natural. There's an opening. Oh, there was an opening. Quick moves. Quick reaction, but Classic, he reacts with the entire army. Uh-oh. Yeah, he pulls away everything to defend. A bit of an F2, and that means that the Broodlords, they get the expansion. They get this in the base. Nice moves out of Rogue. Lings, they're still in the main. The Zealots are on move command. Oh, now they're attacking. And again, I'm still not entirely sold on this composition here from Classic. But we'll see. What's he up against? Okay, so he's up against 7 Broodlords. We have 7 Corruptors. Ooh, the Corruptor count is actually quite low. So low Corruptor count for Rogue. So more Corruptors on the way, getting up to 13. There might just not be enough anti-air. And again, I'd like this a lot more if there were Tempest. Like, we could just be kiting the entire time. Ah. Despite that, takes down the expansion. Hatchery goes down. Rogue is going for a big counterattack. Bearing in mind that Classic can always recall. You can always recall back home. Speaking of, there it is. Does recall. Tempest getting, sorry, Carrier's getting caught out. They're losing 1, losing 2. Nice pickups. Gets 2 Carriers. We have a third Stargate on the way. We have double Nidus. That will distract Classic. As he pulls back home, Rogue is moving in again. Now, Rogue's win condition is deny the 5th. If you recall, we have denied this 5th base, what, 4 times at this point? Just 4 times the base has gone down. Classic has failed to defend. Now he's expanding on the right-hand side. Still no saturation, but he needs an expansion. He needs a 5th. The Bane's ahead for the mineral line. They will crash in. Curve's going down. Both players just refining their armies. Again, more Broodlords, not the Nidus. Thankfully, Classic does have some Warpins available. Now, enough time has passed where Recall should soon be available here for the bases. Not yet. Recall still on cooldown. Does catch all these spores, though. That's a lot of spores going down. Cleric is activated, saves the High Templar. And so far, a nice trade here for Classic. That was how many spores? That was 16. Jesus. 16 spores went down. And he's going to get even more. The old Dominatus. There are some Zealots back at home. Nice feedback. Feedback takes down another expansion. Nidus into the bases does finish, but there's nothing in the Nidus. Just a distraction. So Classic, he defends. Takes down a base. Yo, let's go. Microbial Shroud is on the way. Let's go. I've yet to actually see Microbial Shroud in a competitive game. Just hasn't happened yet. At least not on this channel. Maybe it happened in the TLMC tournament. Ooh, as more spores going to be going down. That is brutal. Rogue losing another spore forest. Nidus does finish in the main. But once again, there's nothing in the Nidus worm. Another expansion going down. And Rogue, he just can't engage. He just cannot engage this army. Like, bases are falling left and right. It's one of those things where if you have a higher Tempest count, you can actually engage with the Broodlords and like pick away at the army over time. Instead, with a carrier army like this, you can kind of like brute force your way forward and knock down bases. You can just bully your way in, knock down an expansion, rotate. Another Nidus. Once again, nothing inside. Bases have been falling, drones have been going down as well. Now, when it comes to the fight that we're building up towards, there's going to be a lot of infestors here, a lot of infestors. We have some Vipers as well. It's going to be a pretty complex army to control for Rogue when it comes to bungling, Microbial Shroud, abductions, parabombs. Parabombs are going to be that much more effective against carriers in certain instances. Specifically effective against interceptors. Otherwise, you can just try to pick away at the army. Classic getting a 6th expansion. Big moment here for Classic. Again, Classic, he fought so hard for a 5th. Finally got up and running. Now we're getting a 6th base. Right, the 6th is getting up as well. So Classic's economy is still very robust. Rogue, he's waiting for his moment. Now, ideally, he wants to fight on his terms, but he's lost that opportunity. I was going to get into it, but we kind of had to gloss over it a little bit, as we do have a Bailey run by towards the 5th. There's a recall. So let's recall over. But that's the Spore Force. Like, the Spores, they're not built to defend against Skytoss. They're built to support the army. Ideally, you want to fight the Skytoss with the help of, like, 16 Spore Crawlers. But the Spore Force have been dealt with. They've been dealt with time and time again. They were left exposed. Nice feedback here on the Vipers. And to fungal the army, a Power Bomb as well. Oh, as we're standing in the storms, the Broodlord's taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. Here come the Corruptors. Yeah, Archon's out of position. And the Skytoss is going down. The Skytoss is going down. The Archons, they just cannot engage. Yeah, they're a little bit too far back. Nice storms. The Corruptors are moving in. There's one Archon left. And that was a better fight for Rogue. Much better. And this is the downside of not having Tempest. Finally, we're 20 minutes in and we've begun Tempest production. Basically, without Tempest, you can't zone away the Broodlords. Because there's no answer to the Broodlords, they were able to zone away the Archons. And without Archons, the Corruptors had free reign on the Skytoss. Again, Classic was missing a key part to his army, which was the Tempest. Now we're finally getting into it. And there's a window in time where Rogue can abuse the army as there is still no Tempest. Classic, he took the bait by going too hard into Carrier. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, this base is now going to go down. Takes down the expansion. Takes down the mineral line. Thankfully, Classic does have top left. And he's rotating over. There's no expansion here, though. Classic was too carry heavy. Oh, you listened to the cast like 10 minutes ago. So we opened with. True. Oh. Congress collapsing the army. Does go for the Micro Shroud. Ultras are moving in. Yeah, the Ultras are moving in, getting on top of the Archons. Broodlords, they just go to town. And Broodlords are going to play Templar. With that, Classic will lose all the Templar. Templar go down, Archons as well. And Classic will lose the entire army. And Rogue, he's doing it. He's breaking through. Takes down the Tempest, the Carriers, the Skytoss crumbles. And Rogue can just remax. Rogue can rebuild, remax. And it took just far too long for Classic to perfect the army. It took far too long. Let's go. Tries to save the mothership. And Rogue, he overwhelms. He overwhelms. He breaks the other expansion. This is the most important mining base for Classic. He will lose it. Again, there's no mining here at the 3rd. There's barely mining at the 4th. And Rogue, he's taking it back. He's taking it. As from here, just came the production, going for the Robos. As he's trying to remax with Ultra. Gets one, gets two. There's one Robo left. So Classic can make one Immortal at a time. And here come the Ultras. Do we have any Infestors left over? I think 2. Yeah, only 2 Infestors. Gonna be a bit of an awkward engage for all these Ultras, but he's getting there. We attempt the surround, we attempt the flank. Let's go. Ultras are moving in. There's a bit of a dance. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Rogue, he will claim the series. He'll advance on into the next round. Again, Classic, he didn't have a bad game here. He was able to build up. He was able to max out. But as we did mention throughout the game, he did commit too heavily here into his carrier. We were discussing about how Tempest, their role is to zone away the Broodlords, and we saw that there was no answer to those Broodlords. They were able to bully the ground army, and honestly uncontested. There were some storms, there were some decent storms on the Broodlords, but outside of that, there was no way to really handle said Broodlords, and Classic, he lost 2 armies as a result. We saw that he started making his first Tempest at 20 minutes. Took 20 minutes to start making a Tempest, and alas, by then it was too late. GG. GG, well played. Rogue, he will advance on, and let's catch up with the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Let's go. Let us go. As we have a lot of updates here in the bracket. From the top, we have Mana. Mana takes down Geralt 2-1. Mana waiting for the winner of MaxPax and Beyond, as Beyond took down Trigger 2-0 as well. Lambo takes down Uwu Thermal 2-0. Oh, there was a walkover. There was a walkover in the second round. Solar, he does forfeit against Ryung. Yeah, my condolences here to, shout out to Ryung for advancing through, and Solar, he does forfeit. Unfortunately, was unavailable. Scrolling down, we have herO. herO takes down Percival 2-1, and now we have the quarterfinals. It's going to be a best of 3 between Rogue and herO. Let's go. So we have our next series, we have our next matchup. Just quickly making sure we message the players. Scrolling down, we have Bunny. Bunny takes down Nickrat 2-0, and Clem takes down Creator 2-1. Yo, shout out to Creator for taking a map off of Clem, but Clem does advance on, and he's facing up against Bunny in a PvT. For the most part, the quarterfinals are underway. Still just one series. Still MaxPax and Beyond facing off. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long one. Here we go. As we're setting up the players, setting up our teams. Beautiful. What happens in 24-5 early PvZ to also almost dominating early late game with Tempest poking aggressively, getting a bolt out, safe and over, and the ever improving death pool. I mean, you do still see that. If you're watching this series, if you recall, Classic, he attempted to go for that style in game number 2 on Maganatha. But if you remember, we emphasized how specifically on Maganatha, the bases are more exposed. You are a little bit less defendable on Maganatha, so we saw that Rogue was able to successfully punish and kill Classic for being greedy and rushing into Skytoss. Classic, he was getting there, he was working towards Tempest, he was trying to defend, and he almost did. It was really close, it was really clutch. I'll say that game 2 was probably the most intense game out of the series, where Rogue barely broke Classic. But Classic was working on that. And again, here, I'll say that in game 3, Classic was maybe just getting a little bit too cavalier, a little bit too excited by investing as hard as he did into carrier. It did mean that he was able to rotate and knock down bases, but again, he could never really take a head-on fight. But we should emphasize that it's not like that's the norm by any means. Oh, este oye, papi. Oh, are we back? Are we back? That's great. Well, the answer is that we still do see that. We just didn't see it in game 3, right? Just because we didn't see it in game 3 doesn't mean that that's not often seen and the meta. Maybe some overconfidence out of Classic. It happens, it happens. But we are now getting into our next series, getting into our best of 3. Loading into our PvZ. Game 1 is going to be on Persephone. Vetoes are done. Vetoes are done. here we go. And there's a lot to get into in regards to these two players. We'll get there as we're loading into Persephone. herO, he often has a very different playstyle to Classic. We'll get there. But now spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the... Oh, never mind. Hold on. Hold on. Predictions will soon be open. I do need a moment to fix some things up. I didn't close the previous predictions. There we go. Man, beautiful. There we go. Now, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it go the way of Rogue? Will it go the way of herO? Let's go. Now, herO, he is a different kind of Protoss player, slightly. I would say that herO, he's a little more aggressive and a little bit more mid-game oriented. I say a little bit more just because Classic, he's the kind of player, both against Zerg and against Terran, where if he sees an opportunity, if the game slows down, Classic will throw down a Fleet Beacon. He'll throw down a Fleet Beacon, throw down a Stargate, and embrace Sky Toss. I mean, hey, we saw that quite heavily against Rogue, and we also see that against players like Clem. We see that against in PvT as well, where if he sees an opportunity, he will go into Sky Toss. And he'll slow the game down. He's a lot more willing to do that. herO is as well. That is true, but just a little bit less frequently. herO, he thrives a little more in the mid game. He's a lot more willing to be aggressive with Blink Stalkers, with a gateway composition, with storm timings as well. On certain maps like Maganatha, like Tokamak, on these larger maps, he is one to slow things down and throw down a Fleet Beacon and throw down a Stargate and turtle up as well, just less frequently compared to Classic. So not saying that herO never does that, he does, just less frequently. So we'll keep an eye on herO. As for now, we're getting into our standard openers. Hatch Gas pull out of Rogue, likewise Gate Expand out of herO. And we'll keep an eye on the Twilight Council timing out of herO as well. We'll see if he goes for an earlier Twilight Council. We'll see if he goes into a later Forge. We didn't really have too much diversity out of Classic too much. We did have a game on this map, on Persephone, where Classic did go into Glaive Adepts, but that's only because of Rogue's failed all-in, if you remember, where he went for a massive Ling Flood. He lost like 84 Lings. It was crazy. So it was a much more unique game state. For now, we have the Stargate. Now we are still just building up, but we're taking our third expansion. So third base is on the way. Depending on the timing of the Twilight Council, we could see something more assertive here. Otherwise, we're just calming down. Just calming down, building up. Both players are saturating. When it comes to Persephone, there are some unique features like the healing pad. We have the goal base on the right-hand side as well, which could come into play in a longer and later game. We'll see if we get there. That's Twilight Council. Twilight Council is going to be thrown down. I don't see a Forge yet. If we go on any longer... Oh, no, never mind. Forge is going to be thrown down as well. A little bit later, but still on the way. So it should be +1 on Blink. Meanwhile, Rogue going for a much faster Evo Chamber. This is typically indicative of +1 melee. Typically indicative of skipping roaches. Oh, and that is not going to be Blink. That is going to be an early charge. Oh my god! It's going to be an early charge timing. The Oracle does barely get away, and now we see why the Forge was a little bit later here. We have the early charge, we have +1 alongside this, and this can hit quite hard. Now, the purpose of this build is to catch a Zerg player who is cutting tech. I mentioned something earlier. Typically, an early Evo chamber leads into +1 melee. It means you skip your Roach Warren. herO, he saw the Evo chamber. Okay, so we scouted the Evo chamber. He believes that there's going to be +1 melee, but I wonder if Rogue knows that he got scouted with the Oracle. If that's true, going for Roaches here is really smart. Because I don't see any upgrades, right? Like, we got the fast Evo chamber, it got scouted, and there's no upgrades whatsoever. Rogue is going Roach, and herO doesn't know. We have overload speed on the way. All in. Rogue is going for a German taxi. So far, unscouted. We're building up the Queens, building up the Roaches, and we'll soon be sending everything across the map. And charge ults are not ideal to defend. This is where Blink Stalkers will be necessary. So a lot of mind games coming into play here. A lot of mind games, and I have to favor Rogue. Here comes the German taxi. Here comes the all-in. herO, he has yet to confirm. Sees the Roach Warren, and now he sees the Roaches. Gets a couple of revelations off. He doesn't quite get full confirmation until now. Yeah, here he comes. Here comes Yolin, and to defend with Chargelot and to defend with some Archons, it's going to be a tough hold for herO. Not impossible, but difficult. Lings overextend. Queen, oh no! The Queen's overextend as well. Rogue, calm down. Calm down. Bit of an awkward assault here from Rogue as he does take down the Zealots. The Queen's getting caught off guard. Losing one of the Queens already. Yeah, he'll lose everything. The Queens all get cleaned up. An awkward attack here from Rogue. Ay. Likewise, lack of kiting. Just kiting now. Bled out a lot of Roaches. And herO's holding. herO holding. And the execution of this all-in left much to be desired. The Lings overextended. The Queens overextended. The Roaches weren't kiting. It all just fell apart. And herO, he should be fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's perfectly fine from here. And now he can chase. He can just chase Rogue down. Like, in general, I like the mind games were taking place. I like the build of choice from Rogue, but it all just fell apart. He's still building on more Roaches, true. Still building up his Roach army. And herO doesn't have to commit, and herO, he's pulling a classic Fleet Beacon. Remember what we said at the start of the series, how Classic, as soon as the game slows down, he takes any opportunity, any chance to throw down a Fleet Beacon and to switch into Sky Toss. Now we're seeing that here at herO. herO's ahead. herO, he's ahead, he has a lead. If herO wanted to, he could just commit. He could just throw down extra gateways and go for an all-in and try to break Rogue and punish him. But herO's not doing that, instead getting further ahead and teching up. Now, this is going to allow Rogue to have the opportunity to recover in this game. Rogue is behind 100%. He's down in economy, he's down in upgrades, but he's going for what? Going for a Spire. Oh, yeah, he's going for the Spire. I believe this should be for Muta play, and so far unscouted. This is unscouted, and this has potential for sure. Remember, because of the build of choice, what does herO not have? Blink. He has no blink. He went charge, so no Blink Stalkers. Likewise, no Phoenixes, not yet, because he hasn't scouted. The anti-air is very limited because it's so heavily Zealot focused. Roaches are coming from behind. The High Templar, he gets one. He gets one, he gets two, he's gonna get three. Up to four. Yeah, three High Templar go down. Does force a morph in. That's gonna be 5 Templar falling. Very nice damage here from Rogue. Very nice moves. And now he's building up his Roaches. We have a handful of Mutas on the way, 7 Mutas, that's enough to one-shot probes. Is enough. And now herO, he just lost 5 High Templar. That's his one Storm. Again, he should have Storm for days here. Ay. Mothership has arrived. herO pushing in. Does catch a couple of Roaches. Archons are being held up. And Rogue, he does stop kiting. That's going to be extra Roaches going down. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there out of Rogue. But the Archons are lagging behind. The Zealots are being cleaned up. Reinforcements are on the way, but Rogue, can he hold on? Oh, good. Okay, looks like he barely can. Storm does a lot of damage to the Roaches. But here he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam, running out of Archons. Every Archon goes down. High Templar are exposed. There's 3 Templar and 3 Zealots. Again, this is a big investment out of herO. Wasn't worth it. And herO, he still has a massive economic advantage. He has 82 probes, 82 workers, full 4-base saturation. Meanwhile, Rogue has a larger army. Rogue is building up more Roaches. Rogue, he's choosing not to drone. And Rogue, he's just going for it. He's just sending it. He's sending it across the map. He either kills herO or dies trying. It's all or nothing for Rogue. And herO is vulnerable. herO, he's out of position. herO, he doesn't spot the army. Rogue goes straight for the natural. Likewise, catching out the early Zealots. Zealots go down. There's the recall. Zealots are coming from behind. And herO, can he collapse on this army? Can he has a lot of Zealots? Decent Storm. Storm on the Roaches. Zealots are catching reinforcements. Efficient trades here from herO. And there's not enough Roaches. Yeah, there's not enough. herO, he defends. Again, this was the one chance for Rogue. GG gets called. herO, he shuts down the all-in. And herO takes game at number 1. Whew. GG. herO takes the lead in the series. A very chaotic game 1 here, very back and forth. Initially, we saw that Rogue, he was feeding herO false information. He did go for a German taxi, completely unscattered, by the way. But Rogue, he fumbled the execution pretty hard, actually. He threw away a lot of Lings, he threw away his Queens, he took a lot of damage from the on his Roaches as well. It was a really, really fumbled assault from Rogue, and herO took momentum. herO, he was able to take that momentum for himself, build up on 4 bases. Then we had herO's push, which also was a little bit fumbled, as we saw Rogue catch 5 High Templar. So very back and forth, but in the end, Rogue was all in. And herO was able to survive, able to hold. GG. GG, well played with that. Oh, what were the vetoes? What were the vetoes, Pappy? As we're leading into game 2, game 2 is going to be on torches. Okay. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of torches, we have our South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Zerg player, we have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. Oh my god. Going for the gold base, it is Rogue. It is very common, if not standard, to rush into the gold expansion as a Zerg player against Protoss, and this should lead into an all-in. So we're rushing into the gold. From here we can go for a Link Flood. We can't commit. The goal would be... where's the base? Ah, Cannon Rush. Okay, so herO, it's very standard to respond with a Cannon Rush, but no, herO, he does double back. There we go, spots the expansion, and he should get his pylons up and running and Cannon Rush the attempted gold. We'll spot this. There we go, Cannon Rush is on the way. So if you watch the Korean Protosses, so herO, Zhang, Classic, this is their standard response to the proxy hatchery like this. It's the Cannon Rush. Trigger's been doing this as well. Pylon will complete, and the cannons are on the way. And Rogue is gonna fight for this. Okay, bold move. Ooh, Cannon gets up. And throws down 1, throws down 2. The probe is getting very low on HP. As he will get another cannon, so that's going to be 3 cannons and 2 pylons. Another probe has arrived. Yep, just taking DPS away. Throws down another cannon. And Rogue, this is not going to finish. I mean, the hatchery's going to finish, but no shot he can save this. The pool is just now finishing. Yeah, the cannons are done. And Rogue, he invested so hard into this defense. Ay, ay, ay. Going for the spine crawler. Lings are building up, but that's still 3 cannons. The drones, they look like he tried to open up the wall. Yeah, Spine Crawler is cancelled. He's going for it. It's the one chance he has. He's going for the wall. Up, the drone, the prone. Purpose to pull away. The wall's going to open up. It's go time. He's all in. The drones, they make it through. Lings, they bust in. And herO, can he defend? Can he hold? The cannons, they're not going to help here. He's got a cannon on the high ground. Zealots, they do not get surrounded. We have a third Zealot on the way. Oh. So we have that ebb and flow of Zealot and Ling. Does fully wall off. Clutch move there by herO. He fully walls off the main. And with 3 Zealots, I feel like herO, he can engage. Oh, not anymore. It's a lot of Lings. There's a lot of Zerglings. Yeah, cannon does finish. We have a shield battery on the low ground. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and herO, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Rogue, bold move to commit to the hatchery. I mean, he had already pulled the boys. He was trying to delay and trying to pull a fast one on herO. What I'm getting at here, if you remember, Rogue, he actually sent his drone past the expansion location to hide it, and herO, he scouted, he saw there was no base, so he pulled away. herO, he pulled away, but then he rechecked. He saw, you're still going for the goal base. Cannon rush did commence, and we saw that Rogue, he was unable to stop the cannon rush, unable to defend against it. He committed so hard, and it was all or nothing. It was all in. Did break into the bases, but we saw that here he was able to react in time. He walled off the high ground. He got his 3 Zealots up and running. GG. GG, well played. Impressive defense there by herO. And with that, we're now getting into the next round. Let's go. Where we at? Here we go as, oh my god, as I gotta quickly head on over to the America server. I didn't even realize, but the lower semifinals are ready. herO takes down Rogue 2-0. Clem takes down Bunny 2-0. And we have herO versus Clem in the lower semifinals. Meanwhile, Lambo takes down Ryung 2-0. And Lambo is waiting for the winner of MaxPax and Mana. Here we go. As herO and Clem, they're connecting the vetoes, and we're about to jump in. So that is going to be our next series. Typically for WardiTV Mondays, we do cast both semis. So it should be lower semis, then upper semis, and grand finals. We have 3 series left. 3 series left, 3 series to go. And we are going to be going on a short break. When we come back, when we return, we will have the lower semis. We'll have that TVP between herO and Clem. We'll see you soon. See you soon after the break. Mondays. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we've returned. We've returned with the lower semifinals of the WardiTV Monday number 55. It's been an intense tournament so far, and now we're reaching the kind of tail end of the broadcast. 3 series left. 3 series. 2 semis, and then the grand finals. Let's go. Let's go. Let's jump on in this morning. In the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the French Terran player. We have the red Terran, the best Terran player in the entire world. For Team Liquid, it is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss from South Korea. Representing T1, it is herO. Here we go. Oh, and I did not get the title ready. My apologies. I was what was I doing? Un momento. Semifinals. Team Liquid. There we go. Okay, and if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as Clem does rock up with the eBay block. The boys are being pulled, and the eBay is going to be denied. So a nice little start here from Clem, able to get a little bit of progression on the eBay. I'm sure he was hoping for a little bit more, and herO can now expand. So force the cancel, he will expand. If herO didn't check the low ground in time, then the progression on this eBay would have been enough to force herO to expand at the third base location instead, but he did scout fast enough to expand on location. That is natural. So herO does open up, Clem pulls back. And PvT, of course, there's a lot of eyes on this matchup right now. This matchup has been probably the most impacted by the most recent patch, just because of the changes to Storm, the changes to the Ghost, the changes to Colossus, the NG overcharge, or I say there weren't any changes to the Colossus, just it's more accessible because of the added light tag to the Ghost, making Colossus even more stronger coming into the mid game and being more viable as an option. So we have been seeing a lot of Colossus play, and less Storm actually. If you've been watching herO in PvT, he's been very fond of going for robo-based follow-ups into Colossus, into Disruptor, into sometimes just no Storm entirely. Not saying that he'll always do that, but saying that it's just a viable option nowadays, more so than previously. So we'll keep an eye on herO, as we're expecting a Twilight Council opener. On these larger maps, it is viable to open up Stargates, but specifically on larger maps like Maganatha or Tokamak, here it is going to be the Twilight Council into Blink. Let's go. So standard open out of herO. Clem back at home, getting to his own factory. It was a eBay block into CC into a delayed factory instead, so more of an economic follow-up out of Clem. And herO is aware. He is aware. Does threaten the shade. And we're going 2-gate. Okay, 2-gate Blink. So we have seen a rise in popularity of 2-gate Blink into third bases. If you recall, this was all the craze at the start of the year, and then it fell off. Then it fell off because of the rise in popularity of 2-base all-ins, specifically from the side of Terran players. There were so many 2-base all-ins happening, so this build did die off, but now in the recent patch, we have seen this rise in popularity once again. So 2-gate Blink into a third base has been seen more and more often, especially on these larger maps like Tokamak, like Maganatha as well. So we'll see if Clem can punish. We'll see if he can punish. As it does open up with his Widowmine drop, following up with a 3-max follow-up here. So we have a 3-1-1 setup. And he's opting not to go Banshee. Taking it to Raven. Clem does go for the drop. Here he pulls away. Medevac goes down. Nice pickup. Very nice knife. And he will clean up. He will clean up. Cleans up with Widowmines. Cleans up the Medevac as well. A better defense here for herO, as Clem did not get away with the Medevac. And herO shuts him down. With that herO, he will gain map control. And we'll see how he leverages that. So herO's pushing out. Behind this, going for a gateway follow-up, going to charge. So standard follow-up. Now what we're waiting for is the Robo or the Templar Archives. Do we go into Storm or do we go into Colossus as we just blink into the main? Going for Stim. Yes, Stim is going to be denied. Very nice pickup. Stim goes down and herO blinks away. And he blinks away, picking up even more Marines. And herO, he should not lose a single Stalker. And he doesn't. And not a single Stalker goes down. Look at the efficiency here, getting 3 Marines, getting Stim, getting the Tech Lab. And this will delay and kind of move up from Clem. So Clem is delayed. As the Raven is spotted. herO, he reacts in time. Raven is getting very low. Can he get it? Up, up. Yeah, Blink is available. Yes, Blink, he gets one more shut off. Ah, not even. The Raven gets away. Raven barely gets away. But Clem, he's stuck at home and he's going into the 3rd CC. So he's building up into a 3rd base, he's building up into the mid game. I will say that herO is in a better position. Ooh, but herO, he will miss the move out. Okay. Double drop across the map. Takes down the bunker, not bad. Hallucination Scout goes in, but again does miss the drop. Does he notice that supply is missing? Does he notice something? Yeah, he does. He does notice. He's like, hold up, why is the army so small? Where are the medevacs? Warps in time. Very nice force shield, nice reaction, and herO, he defends. So he's keeping up with Clem, he's shutting him down. Behind this, going for the Bay, going for Colossus. If you recall, at the start of this game, we did mention how we have been seeing herO enjoy... Oh, no, the Raven! Yeah, Raven gets thrown away. Bit of an F2. Bit of a null army there from Clem. But we spoke about how herO has been very fond of not going Storm in this matchup, but going Colossus. Now, the reason why Colossus is more viable is because the Ghost is weaker, the Ghost is more vulnerable, the Ghost now has a light tag, so the Ghost takes bonus damage from the Colossus. Does take bonus damage. herO pokes in, chipping away the Marines. It's also more impactful just because the meta in TVP for a long time was to rush Ghost. But now that's less viable, and we can see Clem already beginning Viking production. Oh, oh, oh. Nice, very nice control out of herO. Baits out the mine shots. Oh no, miss rally. Yeah, rallies the Vikings in. And the Vikings get very low, they do barely get away. And once again, nice force field out of herO. Taking the better fights, taking advantage of that concave. Bleeds out 1 Stalker, bleeds out 2. And 2 Stalkers go down. 3. Oh, he's sticking around too long. Yeah, herO, he cannot take this fight, he will lose everything. Yeah, the Immortals go down, herO, he overextends. Big overextension out of herO. And Clem, he can just keep pushing. He just noble life control from here. 1 bad fight is all it takes. And Clem will punish. Colossus are on the way there. Colossus are amassing. But after a strong start from herO, he does lose a lot of momentum here. He bled out 9 Stalkers in total and 2 Immortals. Oof. Yeah, 2 Immortals went down, the 9 Stalkers. herO, he got too excited. Takes some ice shots to the face. And herO's getting desperate. Yeah, herO, he's desperate. What I mean by that, you can see that herO, he's trying to do as much damage as possible. Zealots are getting into the mineral line, Stalker's poking in, but he's bleeding out a lot of supply in the process. Does get into the natural though, okay. In that desperation, gets 7 SCVs. Zealots, they do hit the 3rd, but last Clem is in position. And the downside of what herO is doing is he's losing supply, losing army that he can't replace. Takes too long to replace, bleeding out Stalkers, expensive losses for herO. And herO, he is building up his Colossi, but he has no support. He needs that gateway army. He charge lots, Archons, Stalkers. So I'll say run into Clem once again. And herO knows, like he knows that he has to get some damage done. With Zealot buys, with the Blink Stalkers, he has to be active. Whatever he can get. Bait out of Sim. Into Colossus, okay. Shaves off 3 Marines. Gets 1, gets 2 Vikings. 5 left. Again, very tense here for herO. As he cannot slip up. Not anymore. Now, because he's desperate, what do you say? When behind, Dark Shrine. Going into mass DT. Once again, like herO, he's desperate for damage. He has to do something, and going into mass DT like this, it can pop up. It can work. It's a pretty big gamble. It's a big gamble. It's a big investment. Oh. Ideally, you want to wait for a distraction. Okay, you're just pushing. herO's moving in. Distraction the army. DT's ahead for the base. There is no turret. He gets 1. He gets 2. He gets a CC. Yeah, Planetary goes down. No reaction. No repair whatsoever. Clem was distracted, and herO has to get out of here. He has to get the hell away. Oh no. Yeah, he'll bleed out some DTs. Does link back. Main army pushes in. And this is only half the army for Clem. Yeah, Clem, he cannot take this fight. He has to kite out. Vikings, they get 1 Colossus. They're going to get 2. Oh, just the 1. 1 Colossus goes down. Clem is racing back over, but he's caught off guard. He's caught out of position. GG gets called, and herO, he pulls Clem apart, and herO takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A very impressive comeback there out of herO. herO, he was down and out. He was up against the wall. He was desperate, and he was able to pop off with those Dark Templar. He sniped the expansion, he distracted Clem, and he forced Clem to pull a massive chunk of his army away from the main fight. So as Clem was distracted, as he pulled away his army, herO, he went for the kill, went for the throat. He took a much better fight, fighting a portion of Clem's army at a time. Did fight a portion at a time. With that, he forced Clem out of position. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Hi. Very intense, Pappy. Very intense. And with that, we're getting into our next game. Let's go. We're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, we'll see if you can bounce back. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player from South Korea representing T1. It is herO. Whew. And again, a very intense, very impressive game there out of herO. Since that he was literally up 20 supply a minute ago. He was. If you're referring to Clem, like Clem, he was ahead. Like that's. If I didn't make that clear, I do apologize. But like Clem was ahead. He was ahead. He was in a better position. He was in a much stronger state, which is why like herO had to get some damage done. He did take a big risk, took a chance with the DTs. He was able to snipe the expansion. He was able to pull apart the extension of Clem, able to force apart that army, force apart that supply, and made sure that he was able to fight Clem on his terms instead. On herO's terms, I mean. herO, he made the best out of a bad situation. And here we go. Here we go. As Clem, he's had enough. No. The smudge is real. Proxy 2 racks out of Clem. Does go for the proxy. Does set up outside of the main. It was frustrating. Yeah, he definitely needs to attack. Oh, for sure. Like, yeah. If you're referring to Clem's side, like Clem, like there was a window where he could be more aggressive, where he could move out for sure. There was a window there. where you could argue he should have been more assertive than he was. And we're going for Proxy Marauder. So double tech lab, Proxy Marauder. herO, he does move out for his scouts, and he's checking the proxy locations. He will check the center expansion. He will check the southern third base as well, the linear third, and he will eventually head on over towards the triangular third as well. But this is going to be a late scout out of herO. Again, he's checking everywhere down here. Unfortunately, checking the wrong side of the map. Checking the wrong side. So herO's in the dark. He has no idea. The Marauders are amassing. Again, those I Am Katowice Cure versus herO flashbacks. I'm going in the quarterfinals. Ah, no. 2024. As herO, he scouts and now he sees no racks. Now he knows. Yeah, he sees no racks back at home. herO, he's now aware that something is wrong. A shield battery on the low ground. Ooh, I'll be honest, I don't think you can defend the low ground here. Marauders are revealed. And the shield batteries are going to be focused down. Yeah, he will lose both. They're at least buying some time. There's a cancellation. Here we go. We have a wall of shield batteries in the main. Sentries on the way. He's got one force field. Oh, locks him in. But who's locked in with who? Gets one of the stalkers. He kites back. Sentry goes down. There's one stalker left. The boys, oh my god, the boys are going to surround the probes. Yeah, the boys are pulled, surrounds the Immortal. And here he does hold on to the main. Holds on to the main base. Here he will lose 5 probes, that's fine. Like, he can afford to lose them. You can throw away the boys. Warp gate is finishing up. He only has 1 gateway, which is my concern. Just 1 gateway back at home. So limited warp ins. And we'll see if herO can save the natural. As the natural's getting low. Yeah, no, sure. Yeah, no, you can't. He cannot save the base. The base is going to go down, and Clem is transitioning. Clem is working on the factory. He's floating back home. Kills the natural, and Clem, he does not have to push up into the main. Doesn't have to. Just chill, just calm down. And expand. There is command centers on the way. Clem is expanding. And the goal for Clem should just be contain herO for as long as possible. Is to contain him. And again, it was just a really unfortunate scout for herO. Like Skira, he was being very persistent with his scouting. He checked the third, he checked the fourth, he was looking. He was looking. As Clem, he doesn't have to take this fight. Gets 1 stalker. Clem, he will lose these Marauders. This should not have happened. As Clem, he'll lose almost every single Marauder here. Ay. Clem getting a little bit too greedy. You can see here, that was 5 Marauders for 1 Stalker. Ay. So again, Clem getting a little bit too excited. There was no reason to try to force the issue. Which means suddenly, herO has the larger army. Like herO, he has the supply lead. And here he's moving out. Back at home, we have a Cyclone, Tank is on the way, Banshee's on the way as well. But it's just 1 Marauder and 1 Cyclone to defend. Which means Clem, he should have had map control to expand. Now he doesn't. Oh. Lock on is broken. herO's moving in. And just like with Clem, herO, he shouldn't push up the ramp. herO, he should, oh, actually, with hallucinations, he can. Yeah, true. He can bait the shots. He can bait them. Cyclone barely gets away. Tank has arrived, and Clem holds. Okay, Clem, he holds on. He had to pull the boys, though. That's a lot of smite time. Clem, he kills 1 stalker. And all that herO has to do is just contain. Just contain and keep Clem on 1 base for as long as possible. I mean, that's what Clem had to do across the map. Just contain the opponents. Take your expansion. Take an economic lead. Oh. Tank shot goes off. Late reaction out of herO. Ooh, loses a high NG sentry as well. And GG gets called. Clem, he breaks out. And Clem ties up the series 1-1. Ooh, we were going into DTs? GG. GG. herO, he bled out a couple of too many units there. He was unable to stop the move out, and herO, he did not have faith that he could defend back at home. Depending on the warp ins, he might have been able to make a game out of that, but herO taps out. herO, he does tap out, and with that, we're getting into the ace match. Getting into game 3. Here we go. And what were the vetoes? What happened? As we are loading into what? We're loading into Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy here is a 3-player spawn map, is the most vetoed map in the map pool. Let's go. We're loading in. We are getting into our next game and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Last Fantasy. We have the French Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top side of Last Fantasy, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player, the South Green Protoss representing T1. It is herO. We go. And welcome one and all to the ace match of the final game of the series. Again, we're loading into Last Fantasy. There's a little bit of RNG involved when it comes to the spawn locations. This time Clem does not proxy, does not cheese. Not on Last Fantasy. The rushes and spike ground is a little bit shorter on this map. You can be more aggressive in a sense, you can be more assertive. There are definitely some defensive features on Last Fantasy, like the high ground, like the ramps. The cliff face is the point of elevation. We'll see how Clem does play this out. Here we go. So we are opening up. In the YouTube chat, Clem should improve his Zerg to play against Protoss in ZVP. No, I don't know if that would improve Clem's chances against Protoss. I'll be honest, I don't know if that's. I don't think he'd enjoy ZVP in its current state, in its current form. So I don't know if it would improve his chances. I think that if it comes to like taking that seriously, Clem, I mean, he is working on his PvP, true, and he has played Protoss a little bit against Protoss. Like a realistic option in the future is Clem making a full switch to Protoss, at least in PvP and PvT. I don't think he'd switch to Protoss against Zerg. I mean, Clem has the best TVZ in the world, true, like it's I mean, he just beat herO, what was it, like 2 weeks ago in Masters of the Game in the offline event in France. And Clem is very happy with his TVZ. But he has been playing a little bit of Protoss every now and again against herO and against MaxPax. And against Classic as well, true. He has been dabbling in the Protoss with mixed results. For those of you that have seen it, like Clem, he has taken maps off of the 3 players that I just mentioned with Protoss, but not series. Like he has not taken a series with it. Just like maps here and there, which is still impressive for sure. Still impressive. Clem did go for a high ground CC. We'll expand. And Clem is going for an early tank. Okay, so early aggression here, going for the initial drop, going for the early marine drop into early tank push. So hyper aggression out of Clem. herO for the most part does scout, does confirm, and it's on herO to slow this down. Back at home, herO, he does not go 2-gate blink, he's going up to 3, so a very safe play out of herO. Catching out the medevac. Medevac takes a lot of hits but does survive. Medevac making its way into the main. Stalker does attempt to intercept. There's the recall. Recalls to the natural, not the main base. And Clem is getting in. He's going for the mineral line. He wants probes. He gets one. He gets two. Two probes go down. Mine Shield does not get baited. Ooh, takes down a sentry. Nice pickup. And here he'll take a lot of losses. He'll take a lot of hits. 4 probes go down. And we're not done. Remember, we're going for the early tank push. We did point that out earlier with the tank production. So Clem is not stopping. He's rallying everything he can across the map. He's here to end the game. He's here to end it. He can get within range of the gateway, of the cyber core. Yep, he's going for the production. This is one of the benefits here of Last Fantasy. herO trying to engage. Cyber core should go down. And herO, he's not going to be able to hold on here. Yeah, cyber core goes down, gateway as well. herO trying to catch reinforcements, but the rally is not being interrupted. Not yet. Second tank arrives. herO, he will get across the map, and there's not actually much at home to defend, but there's a tank on the way. Yeah, there's a tank on the way. The boys are being pulled. herO just doesn't really have much to work with back at home. He's up against 2 tanks, and very nice target firing. Does focus on the Stalkers, and Clem is snowballing out of control. He will take the series here as he gets up the production. The Immortal is just too far out. He needs more time. He needs the Immortal. Pylon goes down. The Autosis Pylon, everything gets depowered. Ay, ay, ay. And herO just cannot engage. Can no longer engage here. As the Robo is back up and running, he's got the Immortal in the way. I mean, the Immortal will help, but there's just too much buffer. There's too many Marines. And he's going for the Robo. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. The Immortal does pop. Gets 1 tank. There's 2 tanks left. Down to 2. Down to 1. 1 tank. Oh god, a brutal connection. Brutal tank volley. And again, Clem, he has something. Like, he snowballs out of control. The first drop got too much damage. It really set the pace for this game. herO unable to deny the drop. Unable to stop the push, unable to catch reinforcements. And with that Clem, he will be able to make it through. herO trying to warp in whatever he can, getting a handful of Stalkers. But blinking into 2 tanks is not going to be easy. It's not... He's gonna go for it though. He blinks in. Oof. He blinks in, takes on Liberator, but he will lose almost everything in the process. Again, the tanks do punish. The natural is gonna go down. And blinks in once again, but GG gets called, and Clem, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Hyper aggression out of Clem, as Clem was able to take game 2 and game 3. Game 2 went for proxy 2-rax Marauder, and game 3 here he went for a big 2 base all-in or 1.5 base all-in, just rallying everything across the map, going for tank production, going for the Liberator as well, going for Viking support, just rallying everything he could, and eventually got on top of the production and broke herO. GG. GG, well played. There's a world out there where if herO was able to minimize losses against the first drop, if he was able to keep his Robo powered and finish the first Immortal in time, then there's a world where maybe he could defend. But GG. GG, well played. As Clem does take it. And now we're getting ready for the upper semis. Getting ready for the upper semifinals. It's going to be a best of 3 between MaxPax and Lambo. Here we go. Just quickly setting up. Oh. Bam. Beautiful. Vitas are done, lobby has been made, and we're just making sure we get everyone involved. Make sure we get everyone invited. Here we go. Again, Clem is waiting in the grand finals for the winner of the series. Best of luck to Lambo. Like, MaxPax is coming in to see heavy favorites, but I'm curious to see if Lambo, I mean, what he's been cooking, right? Like, Lambo, I'm sure he's been very, he's been doing a lot of theory crafting in regards to the new patch, in regards to ZVP. So I'm curious to see what Lambo brings to the table in the new patch, in the potential new meta. I say potential, as I was saying previously during the Rogue series, it does feel like there are potentially early, like, bailing all-ins and bailing timings you can try to go for early on to break a defending player. But we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. Oh boy. Oh, hello Vast. Hello Este Vast in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? How's the cast going? It's been going well. Been going well. We still I mean, we have a lot of Zerg players, so that's always nice. I think we've seen the most Zerg matchups tonight compared to every other day since the new patch, so able to experience a little bit more of the ZVP and ZVT on the new patch, or mainly ZVP really. To see how Zerg players have been trying to adapt to the new Storm and how successful that's been. And we're about to see that here. We're about to see that here. We'll see if Lambo can break MaxPax, or if MaxPax can embrace that floor-based setup. Let's go. As we are loading into ley lines. Here we go. Yes, we are very used to seeing like 0, if not like maybe 1 or 2 Zerg players max in a bracket. And I think here we have 3. We had Lambo, we had Solar, and we had Rogue. I mean, but Solar forfeited, so, so there can only ever be 2, Pappy. Ah, smudge. Only ever 2, but we'll take it. We'll take it. That's still more than we usually get. It's more than standard, but here we go. We're getting into the upper semifinals and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the German Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. Here we go. Whew. Are you going to feel it? Oh god. I mean, I would love to, but unfortunately that's a little bit too far away here. Bearing in mind that I'm in Australia, so that's a long and then very expensive flight. So unfortunately not. But I hope you enjoy yourselves. I know there's a big event happening, of course, the new Philadelphia, SC for All. It looks really cool. I love that it's a combination of StarCraft 2 tournaments, but also Brood War tournaments and StarCraft 64 tournament as well. So it's a really good way to kind of bring together multiple scenes and, you know, have like that cross-pollination, the cross-pollination going on as well, like viewership and player-wise as well. So it's a really cool event, and I hope it goes well. Hope it goes well. We might be a part of the broadcast. We might be like the B stream, maybe. We'll see. We shall see. For now, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Strangely similar to Sith Lords. Yes, the rule of 2, Bab. Yeah, no. That's why Solo couldn't compete tonight. He got taken out. Oh no. Between Lambo and Rogue, who is Palpatine and who is Darth Vader, I guess? Ah no. Only ever B2. For now, Stargate opening out of MaxPax, opening up standard, as you would expect. Lambo is obviously Palpatine, 100%, right? Like he's the guy behind the scenes, the puppet master, and he's controlling Raynor, of course. Like he's, it just fits, man. It just fits. Raynor is his puppet, leads him into World Championship wins, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hey Lambo, get Raynor out of the rifts. What are you doing? What are you? Get him out of League of Legends, baby. What are you letting him do? Este Lambo. SMH. As for now, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. As for now, we're going to be opening a Void Ray. Okay, MaxPax with the Void Ray opener is going to be able to deny vision, deny scouting, and we don't often see this nowadays. With this, it's going to be more difficult for Lambo to scout at the follow-up. And to confirm whether or not MaxPax is going for an early Twilight Council timing, which he does like to mix in. Winding it back here at MaxPax, he is known for more standard play compared to Classic and herO. That is true. That does not mean that he is incapable of opening up with early aggression. As he hunts down the first Overlord, he gets one. And he will get the other as well. No transfuse. Yeah, nice snipe. He gets 2 Overlords, and he'll be able to shut down the 3rd Overlord as well. 3 Overlords going down. A very, very nice start from MaxPax, getting a lot of value out of that Void Ray. Oracle goes in, gets 1 more drone. And this is a rough start here for Lambo. Rebuilding those Overlords. As the final Overlord is found. And Lambo, he has to play it safe, opening up Roaches. Ideally in ZVP, you want to be skipping your Roach Warren if at all possible, but Lambo, he's forced to make it, forced to throw it down, forced to play safe. I mean, again, he has to be. Just a quick swim, true. Yeah, just hop on over to Philly, true. I would hope you enjoy, and best of luck in the tournament as well. Best of luck. If we ever get a StarCraft 2 event at BlizzCon again, like I'd love to go. Like in the past, I just have had no reason to go to the Americas, but I mean, BlizzCon would always be like the big thing, right? Like the World Championship, World Finals. If it ever comes back, maybe one day, maybe one day. Copium. Jeez, are we gonna force a cancel? Let MaxPax calm down. Oh, he gets it again. He does force 2 cancellations. This one Void Ray has achieved so much already for MaxPax. Ay. Killing 3 Overlords, canceling, denying the 4th. Speaking of, MaxPax is gonna cancel it again. He's gonna shut it down. This time no cancellation, going for the kill. Ooh, stasis goes off. Brutal stasis trap. Void Ray still in position. MaxPax setting up, pressuring the 4th. But there are too many Zerglings. And Lambo, he should be able to hold on. Oh, I say that. Lings are getting caught out. Nice bait. Nice bait on the stasis. Void Ray going for the Roach Warren. Oh shot. Is he gonna get it? He denies. No shot. He denies speed. Yeah, Roach speed is denied. Massive pickup. Takes down Glyle reconstitution. No shot. Glyle is denied. And MaxPax, he's having his way with Lambo. Lambo, he can't make any roaches. Behind this, he's taking into Hive, going for Infestors, and most likely, I mean, he has to go into Ultras, right? It's gonna be a Ling into Ultra Infestor. Now, the problem with this style that Lambo's going for, it is not unheard of. Like, rushing into Ultras, we used to see it all the time from Dark, right? Dark used to be very fond of this style. The problem is that ideally, to get away with this, you want map control. You want map control, you want to delay and deny the 4th base of the Protoss player and keep them on a lower economy while you build up and snowball out of control with Ultra Tech. Here, Lambo doesn't have that. Doesn't have any map control. He's stuck at home, he's stuck barely holding onto his bases. The big difference, though, compared to Dark's era, is that we do have Microbial Shroud. That is going to be a big power spike here for Lambo. To help support, to help buffer his Ultras. Assuming that we are going Ultra, by the way. I'm making that assumption. As the Void Ray is still alive. On 4 HP. He's crazy, man. He's crazy. Yep, Ultra Cameron's on the way, so it is going to be rush into Ultra. The problem is that as we're rushing into Ultras, as we're rushing into Infestors, MaxPax has arrived. He has Storm. Yeah, he has Storm. MaxPax he hits first. Ooh, a little bit premature. Premature with the Storm. So what is a 5 high Templar? Lings, they have time to catch reinforcements. Lings getting called out. Lambo attempting to surround. Nice revelation. Ooh, as Lambo gets supply blocked. Yeah, brutal supply block for Lambo. Nice rotation, catching up with those fresh zealots. So MaxPax now he's taking up into Sky Toss. They try to engage. MaxPax has to be very careful with how he pushes in. So again, a zoning Storm. Nice zealot run by, catching up the Queens, getting into the mineral lines. Ultra production has begun. Yeah, and the base goes down. Lambo just cannot keep up, he cannot defend. Zell's causing a massive distraction. 10 drones going down, and the 4th expansion. And Lambo is stumbling his way into the mid-game. Into a later game, I should say. MaxPax getting into carriers. Mothership is soon to arrive. Getting his Mothership. Carriers, +1. +3 attack. Oh god, oh god. Bit of a late reaction out of Lambo. 7 drones go down. And MaxPax has just been so careful with his army movements. Lambo, he does get across the map. Oh. Gets in, surrounds zealots. He wants the expansion, but he will not get it. Yeah, MaxPax he defends. Still no mining. Lambo is stuck on a 3-base economy. Lambo, he's broke. He can't max. Now, Lambo still has one big fight in him, right? He's got all the Ultras. He has Ultras, he has Microbial Shroud, he has Fungals. Lambo still has one fight in him. Just the one, though. That Void Ray is still popping off. Jesus. As Lambo is going for it. Tries to commit. Does attempt to. And the longer this game goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. MaxPax is just outscaling Lambo. Lambo cannot keep up. As now MaxPax is getting 2 more robos. That's going to be for triple Immortal production. Lambo, he has to try to end the game before the Immortals get out of hand. Nice ring run by. Doesn't quite get the expansion. Yeah, MaxPax he keeps up with the rotation. Zones away. Catching out Infestor. Oof. Yeah, gets 1, gets 2 Infestors. And brutal pickoffs. And now he's hunting down the Ultras. Lambo, he can't fight head on like this. He needs those Infestors. MaxPax pushing in. At this point, he may just go for the kill. Here we go. Lambo setting up for the flank. This is it. This is his time. Going for the surround. MaxPax he pulls away. Very nice storms. Yeah, storm. Oh, Jesus, the storms and the feedbacks. Feedbacks with the Infestors, and GG gets called. MaxPax, he will take game number 1. GG. A very impressive game there out of MaxPax. Very dominant performance. MaxPax, he was in the driver's seat from the beginning of the game, getting 3 overlords, denying the 4th base twice as well, sniping the Roach Warren. It was insane how much damage MaxPax was dealing. And Lambo, he never got the fight he wanted. Like Lambo, sure, he eventually got into Ultras, he eventually got into Infestors, but he was stuck on 3 bases. So he had no economy. It took him a long time to max out because of that. And even if he did max out, he couldn't maintain any losses. He couldn't maintain the army that he had built because his economy was so lackluster. It was just a really lackluster economy. And I mean, towards the end, I guess he was able to engage, but even then took all the storms to the face, the feedbacks as well. GG. GG, well played. And with that, MaxPax takes the lead, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Here we go. Getting ready for that second game. And we are loading into Incorporeal. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. Here we go. So we are going to be moving out. Lambo going for a 15 hatch. Swing hatch gas pool. Settling in. And welcome to Incorporeal, one of the larger maps in the map pool. I would say that this map does favor a more defensive Protoss player getting into a longer game state. But what I will say is that MaxPax, he was surprisingly aggressive and assertive last game. He was very aggressive, very assertive. He had a lot of momentum. He was very in the face of Lambo. Unlike Classic, for example, who's a lot more willing to just back off and turtle up, MaxPax is being a lot more proactive instead. A lot more proactive. And Lambo, he had a hard time keeping up. And we'll see if that trend continues. We'll see if Lambo can recover. I mean, personally, I'm hoping for an ace match. Oh. Okay. MaxPax just being as annoying as possible. Trying to force some inefficient mining. So we're settling in. We'll see if MaxPax opens up Void Ray again. He achieved so much with that one Void Ray. It was it's crazy. That was crazy. We'll see if he can do it again. Or if he just calms down and does open up Triple Oracle instead. Let's go. There's that Stargate. Stargate is on the way. And I should also emphasize as well that Lambo, he has been trying to play that style quite a lot recently, I'm referring to going for the Infestors, going for the Ultras, and going for Microbial Shroud. He wasn't quite able to embrace that kind of style last game. He was shut down before he could really get things going. We'll see if he tries to go for that again. As Lambo, ever since the new patch, he has been streaming a lot, and that's how he's been approaching the ladder. But now, once again, Void Ray open out of MaxPax, and this time it should not do anywhere near as much damage. This time, Lambo should be a little more careful with his overlord placement. It should be. So Void Ray is on the way. Does move out. MaxPax will take his third. And once again, Lambo is going for the early Evo Chamber. This should be for early +1 melee. I say once again, last game he was forced into the early Roach Warren, and he never really got to embrace his roaches. His upgrades were denied. This time the goal should be Ling Hydra. This is that melee upgrade. Warrior does move in. Doesn't get much done. Revelation here at the third base does confirm saturation, and we do have the early Baneliness as well. We did mention in the previous series, in the Rogue series, that this is something that has been more trendy as of late. In the last patch, it would just be Ling into Hydra, but now because of the change of the Baneling, now Ling Bane is a little more viable here. So opening up Ling Bane. Void Ray does scout. Void Ray confirms. Oh, as Max actually will leave the Void Ray idle, and he will not lose the Void Ray. Takes a lot of hits. Double Orc into the mineral line. Void Ray does pull away. He does not get a second queen. So a bit of a chaotic start here. Max actually kills 2 drones, kills a queen, pulls away. And Lambo's looking to expand. This time Max X Void Ray is not in position. Checks the triangular fourth. Or the triangular third. The oracles they do confirm. Void Ray gets 1 more drone, just barely. As we mentioned, this time the Void Ray has been less effective. The oracles they help make up for that. The oracles get 5 more probes, 5 more drones. Drones going down, charges on the way. MaxPax is building up into the mid game, going for a very gateway heavy composition. Here come the charge loads. Here comes that early charge timing. Sorry, my apologies. This was a charge opener, not blink. Uh-oh. And Banelings, if they're not ready, this game can just end. This game, it can just end here and now. The Zelts are coming. There's no Banelings ready. And Lambo is getting caught with his pants down. Yeah, we dive on the queens. Queens are going to fall. We do have 8 Banelings morphing in here at the third base location. So thankfully there are some Banelings on the way. They will finish, but the base is going to go down. Yeah, the expansion should fall. Lings, they cannot engage. And this timing is designed to punish a player that does skip roaches. So no roaches to defend. The base goes down. Back up forth under fire. Here come the slow Banes. Nice lit. Oh, does clump. Yeah, it clumps up a little bit too much. Banelings, they will connect. Lambo's holding. He's holding on. Do we have any queens to defend? They're a ways away. Can he force a cancel? MaxPax. It's getting low. The queens, they respond in time. Yeah, they will respond in time. But the base is so close to going down. Oh, does get it. Yeah, it does go for does get the kill. No cancellation. The Void Ray gets away as well. No shot. He gets away, papi. And Lambo's all in. I should emphasize that as well. Lambo, he's completely all in. So on the one hand, MaxPax did a great job killing drones, killing queens, killing bases, but he also lost his army. He threw away his army for that. And now Lambo is all in. He's massing up his Ling Bane Hydra. And at this point, I would say that MaxPax shouldn't try to save his base. It'll be difficult to defend, and at this point, it's going to be forfeits. There's just so much army supply. Banelings rolling in. First storm, a little bit premature. And the base goes down. Yeah, the fourth Nexus does fall. And Lambo, this is it. This is his time. This is his moment. We're holding open the storms. Very delicate micro, delicate control. Queen defends against the Void Ray. Zealot run by catching reinforcements. Lambo turns around. Yeah, Zealots get into the third, they get into the natural, and Lambo turns everything around. Uh-oh. He races back home to defend. Drones are falling, and that means MaxPax he can stabilize. MaxPax he can stabilize back at home, building on more Archons, more Charge Lots, more Storm. Throwing down his fourth. Lambo is still committed. You can see, yes, he has a fourth expansion, but no drones, or barely any saturation. He's not droning. Lambo is sending it. Splits up the army. Heads towards the third. Oh, probes, they do actually get away. Wow. The boys actually run past the Banelings. Bit of miscontrol there by Lambo. As the Banelings were moved, they were on move command. Oh. Does find some probes though. Yeah, it does find them. Yeah, there we go. 11 probes go down. That's a kill, not a cancel on the expansion. So Lambo, he makes up for it. Does make up for it. And Lambo's just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going. Just keep hammering the issue. Just send wave after wave of Link Main Hydra. How many Templar? Only 4. So 2 per base. MaxPax trying to keep up with those rotations. Defends the fourth. I mean, he's got a pretty robust army, to be honest. Like, MaxPax, he's got Archons, Immortals. He should defend. MaxPax, he's stabilizing. It comes down to the Storms. There's the first. Does zone. Second one, again, a little bit premature. He doesn't want to waste those Storms. They've been moving in. And it does commit better Storm here towards the end. Had Templar go down, we have more Templar coming in. And Storms, they zone away the Hydras. Most of the Archons are falling, and now it's mainly Immortal. And that was the final Storm. Yeah, we need more. We need more Storms. Banelings, they crash in. They shut down the Archons. There's one Archon left. And without Storms, the Hydras are moving in. Oh, the Banelings. Ooh, nice connections. Banelings, they rotate. We do have one final Storm. Banelings, they're zoning away the Immortals. But MaxPax is holding. Yeah, he's holding on at the same time. Zealots, they hit the natural. Zealots in the natural base. GG gets called. Lambo, he loses everything back at home. The all-in fails, and MaxPax, he will defend. He will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Lambo, he was all in. It was all or nothing. Back at home, he lost so much. There was Zealots in the natural. There was also in the main base as well. Losing all those drones, it meant that Lambo, he couldn't reinforce. He couldn't keep the all-in going. GG. MaxPax, he held, he survived, and MaxPax takes the series, and we have our grand finals. Let's go. We have our grand finals here. It's going to be a best of 5 between Lambo and Clem. Sorry, Lambo. Between MaxPax and Clem, is what I meant to say. Here we go. As we are getting ready for the grand finals. Beautiful. As again, Clem, he took down herO 2-1. MaxPax just took down Lambo, and now we have MaxPax and Clem facing off in the grand finals in that TVP. Oh boy, here we go. And again, Clem, he was very aggressive against herO. We saw a lot of aggression, we saw a lot of proxies, all-ins. That's how Clem was able to bring herO down. We're expecting something similar against MaxPax. We're expecting hyper-aggression out of Clem, as I'm sure he does not want to enter the mid-game. I guess until then, Vita's underway. Vita's are underway, so we're going to be going on a short break. Someone get the Void Ray medal. True, true. Have MaxPax and Clem played before? They did play very often, especially last year. Coming into 2025, they played a little bit less frequently, just because often they would be denied from facing off against each other by players like Classic, by players like herO. But yeah, Clem and MaxPax have a lot of history with each other, of course. They are the best Terran and Protoss players, respectively, from Europe, from the European region. Clem, of course, being the best Terran in the world. MaxPax being one of the best Protoss players. But I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen the two of them face off yet this patch. So we'll see. We shall see. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. And when we come back, we'll have the grand finals. We'll see you soon. See you soon. Play each other all the time. It's fine, Pappy. It's fine. Okay, we'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the grand finals, those grand finales here of the WardiTV Monday number 55. It's been an intense broadcast here. Now we have arrived to our top two players of the tournament, and we're here to find out who's going to be this week's champion. As spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player, the Red Terran. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP. As Clem does move out with his initial SCV, going for the eBay block. So again, the goal here is to avoid the main scouting pattern, to be able to sneak past the first probe, to get into the natural, and to start the eBay. And ideally to almost finish it, to get as much progression as possible, to delay the expansion and to force the unnatural natural. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can. As the eBay is on the way, and MaxPax, he does not check. He does not check. The probe scout does get across the map. There's no worker rallying here to the low ground, which means the eBay is going to have plenty of progression, and Clem is going to have a slightly better edge here in the early game. Speaking of, there it is, there's the unnatural natural. Again, MaxPax, he did not check the low ground, he did not check the expansion locations, so he's forced to expand at the third location instead. And with that, Clem has the opportunity to punish. Does have the opportunity here back at home. We have the CC on the low ground. From here we can go into the factory, into Atom Swap, into Reactor, into Hellion, or into Cyclone, or he can just play standard and just play it out from here. Our eyes are going to be on Clem, as he has momentum. He does have momentum. From the side of MaxPax, it can be very awkward to defend, so yep, he has to invest into shield battery. Shield battery is on the way, and we'll see if he goes for a Stargate or a Twilight Council. What is the tech going to be? Let me go what he wanted. And there it is, Stargate is the tech of choice. Again, it's very common to open up Stargate when the Protoss player is in this position. The reasoning for this is because, as you can imagine, it can be very awkward, very difficult to defend your main base and your third base at the same time. The Oracle does help, just because the Oracle is able to traverse and the terrain doesn't matter, right? It's a little bit easier to maneuver back and forth between your bases with Oracles. With Phoenixes, with the Stargate. So this is a common follow-up. Phoenix production has begun. As it is poking in, and Clem is getting to his own 1-1-1 follow-up. The factory and starport a little bit further back to make sure they don't get scouted. To make sure that MaxPax is in the dark. As MaxPax is looking for a way in. Two more gates on the way behind this. And with the early tank production, Clem should be going for an early push. So early move outs, very committed here. This is where Stargate openers can be really weak, and that is because the Phoenix can do what? Can lift the tank, sure, but there's going to be plenty of support with Marines, with the Cyclones, to make sure the Phoenixes are a non-factor. Phoenixes, they're great at denying drop play, they're great at denying harass, but when it comes to committed all-ins, I mean, different story. As here comes Clem. Oh, okay. Actually, not pushing towards the third. You can see MaxPax getting ready. Shield batteries are on the way. 2 shield batteries, extra warp ins. For now, Clem is building up back at home. He's not pushing yet. Just going for the drop. Drops into the main. Good confirms the Stargate. Ooh, and the medevac. It's gonna get called out. Yeah, brutal pickup. Clem, he will lose the medevac, he'll lose all the Marines. This should not have happened, but Clem was unaware of the tech. Didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know what it was moving into. Those 8 Marines going down. If the Marines were still alive, then we can actually push with everything. And even pull the boys. But now he's stuck at home. 2 more racks is on the way, getting into a 5-rack setup. Very committed on 2 bases. Waiting for Stim, and until Stim finishes, Clem is stuck at home. Stuck at home. MaxPax taking his natural, securing his bases, getting into charge. It's on MaxPax to scout the move out and to slow it down. And so far, doing a great job. Piece up a couple of Marines. Piece up the medevac. Again, so far, Clem is just stuck and turtling up on 2 bases. And he has the option to pull the boys. Yeah, Stim is almost done. Here comes a mass on siege. No add-ons here on the racks is indicative of an all-in. It's all or nothing for Clem. Storm is not done. And either he kills MaxPax or he dies trying. Doesn't pull the boys. Oh. Does catch some reinforcements. Yeah, gets a Marine. Gets 2 Marines. Does force the siege. Forces the burrow. And pulls away. Peels off into the mineral line. Not bad. Dust him in, but again, Clem splits up his army. Takes care of every single probe. And the main army does hit the 3rd. Storm does great. Ooh, nice mine shot. Takes down the High Templar. Job is dealt with. But Clem is down to 1 tank. Clem, does he have enough? Does he have enough to keep going? He's rallying. Here come the storms. And yeah, MaxPax, he defends. He defends. He shuts us down. GG gets called. Clem was all in, and he does not do enough damage as MaxPax survives. And MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Clem, he had potential, of course, and he did get a mineral line, but the reality is he was all in. Killing the 3rd base mineral line, and even killing the 3rd, isn't good enough. It's not good enough. He had to do more than that. He had to break the expansion, and we had plenty of storms, plenty of High Templar. And again, it was just a really rough start for Clem to lose that full medevac as well. He had no idea what he was moving into. He had no idea that Phoenixes were waiting for him. GG. GG, well played with that. Oh, MaxPax will take a lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Here we go. As we are going to be loading into Ultralove. Ultralove is a smaller map in the map pool, shorter rushes by grounds. You can be a little bit more aggressive here. 2 base all-ins are very common on Ultralove, and we're expecting that kind of play out of Clem, for sure. We're expecting an all-in. We'll see if he does commit. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultralove, we have our Danish Protoss, the blue Protoss, for Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax, leading the series 1-0. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. We go. So getting into game 2, and again, Clem, he was hyper aggressive. It was again unfortunate that he threw away the first medevac at 8 Marines at the start of the game, as again, he didn't know that he was moving into a mass amount of Phoenixes. So it was a rough start that could have assisted when it came to the all-in. Likewise, I don't know if I'm really too fond of Clem splitting up his army and going for the double drop into the natural. As we mentioned, yes, he killed the middle line, but that didn't matter, is the problem. Like, it doesn't matter that he killed, what was it, 14 to 16 probes. What matters was the main army, and yeah, Max actually shut it down. Here we go. Now getting to that second game. This time double gas. So double gas to open out of Clem. Clem this time going for a faster factory. As a reminder, last game Clem went actually for the eBay block into a faster expansion on the low ground. This time, factory instead. So more of a tech heavy start. Technically this can lead into a one base all in, but we're expecting Clem to expand. One base all ins are very rare in this matchup. We've seen players like Ryung or Oliveira back when he was around, kind of mixing them in. But here he pulls out. Does pull out. As there's that CC on the high ground after the factory. And with this more tech heavy start, Clem can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion, he can go for early Cyclone drop, he can go for early tank production, Banshee play as well. Committed Widowmine drop. Show us what you got. Meanwhile, this time MaxPax does open up Twilight Council into Blink. We're assuming Blink. Twilight Council's on the way. We did mention previously that the Stargate opener was just because MaxPax was forced to expand elsewhere at the third location. This time opening up standard. Back at home and Reactor Reaper Hellion. Just getting up to 3 Reapers. So 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions. Clem moves out. There's the recall back home. A dead does make it out. And we'll see what Clem can get done. Meanwhile, MaxPax playing very safe. Makes sense. He does throw down extra. He does wall off completely at the natural. Getting into 3-gate blink. Bearing in mind that MaxPax will be canceling one of these gateways. So 3-gate blink out of our Protoss into a delayed third. Clem looking for a way in. Doesn't find it. And there's a cancel. Back at home, Clem with the double gas opener, he's going into early tank production, early Banshee production as well, and this should lead into an early push. Once again, Clem is going to have the option to pull the boys. Just like last game. Ooh, as Clem does get one of the Stalkers out of range of the shield battery. Yeah, MaxPax barely out of range. Nice pick off out of Clem. Prism moves out. MaxPax should expand. And here comes a push, and we do pull only a couple of boys. Just a couple of boys to repair, but this is still very committed here from Clem. Blink is done. MaxPax, he's distracted by the Reaper Hellion. The Bio Army's pushing in. And MaxPax, he has to delay the move out. He has to delay the siege. He's trying. But the army's already here. We spoke earlier how 2-base all-ins are very popular on this map because of the rush distance. Clem is already pushing into the bases. The Immortal has arrived, just barely. But the tank siege. Yeah, the tanks, they siege. They bully back the army. And Clem, he's doing it. He's pushing in. MaxPax, he does catch some reinforcements. Setting up for the surround. Yeah, the second Immortal will not finish. Gateway falls as well. And MaxPax, he does get the third tank. Okay. Oh no, the Immortal, as yeah, he was not paying attention. The Immortal goes down, a massive pickup, and Clem, he's doing it. He's breaking the natural. Max is slowly sieging forward. And MaxPax doesn't have anything. Yeah, there's no way to defend. Prism is running back. Second Banshee has arrived. The boys are being pulled. Oh, that's a great pull. It's only 13 pro kills. Charge will help, but Charge is still a ways away. As he does go for the blink. Okay, does go for the blink, does go for the dive. Gets one, gets two. Can he get all three tanks? He won't. He will not. GG gets called. Clem, he shuts down the army, and Clem ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. We are going to game 3 here. Again, all-ins are very common on Ultra Love. As we mentioned, show rushes, spike round. You have that abusable position in between the natural and the third base. And unfortunately for MaxPax, he was unable to slow down the all-in. He wasn't able to slow down the push. If you recall, the Stalkers were busy, distracted by the Reaper Hellion, so he couldn't slow down the Marines. He couldn't force an early siege. He couldn't engage with the main tank move out, or at least he wasn't able to with that GG. With that GG. Once Clem got within range of the Robo, that was game. MaxPax did end up getting his first Immortal out, but as you saw, he was inattentive and he lost it early on. Did lose that Immortal. And now we're getting into game number 3. Now, bearing in mind this is the best of 5, so we have plenty more games ahead of us, and we are loading into, from one of the smaller maps into one of the larger maps of the map pool. We're going to be loading into Tokamak. Tokamak, known for longer and later games. I do favor MaxPax coming into these larger maps. I favor Clem on the smaller maps. So maps like Ultra Love, maps like Pylon, maps like Torches. These are the maps where Clem can pop off. On these larger maps, MaxPax is going to be a lot more comfortable. So maps like Tokamak, like Maganatha as well. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the French Terran player. We have the Red Terran. Tying up the series 1-1. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Ooh, as we do have a bit of a pause. Oh, never mind. It's all good. It is MaxPax. Here we go. Here we're going to be settling in. It is viable on these larger maps to open up with a faster third CC. Bjorn is very fond of it. If you watch Bjorn, he's very fond of going into the faster third CC. Clem, he is willing to go for those builds every now and then, but for now, double gas. Ooh, okay, double gas opener out of Clem, just like last game. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be seeing the same build, but he does have the option to. Does have the option, as he's going to have extra gas, faster factory, faster starport. So a much more tech heavy, much more aggressive start out of Clem. Once again, to reiterate, this is the most defensive map in the map pool. All-ins are less favorable on this map. Not saying you can't pull them off, you can. But more difficult to achieve here on Tokamak. Clem, he might attempt it anyway. We'll see. Now MaxPax is setting up. Just getting to his own opener. Here MaxPax, he may go for a 2-gate opener into a faster third. It is more viable to go for that on these larger maps. So we could see MaxPax cut some. We could see him cut some corners. If he does, then maybe Clem could be aggressive as well as a response. We'll see how things line up. Oh. And the scat is denied. Twilight counter opener out of MaxPax. Clem is in the dark. And Clem is going to be opening up with a Widowmine drop this time. Remember, last game we had a faster reactor into reactor Reaper Hellion. That is not the case this time. So we have a lower amount of Hellions and Reapers. Setting up for the mine drop. Getting into a longer game. That does take some extra hull damage, not bad. Ooh, does go down. Nice pick up here by Clem. And the Widowmine drop is building up. Ooh, meanwhile, very safe play at a MaxPax. As we mentioned before, he has the option to be greedy and to go for a faster third. He's not going for it. He's going for a 3-gate blink opener into a robo on 2 bases. So again, very safe play out of MaxPax. He's not cutting any corners. I mean, despite that, still did go down last game. A different map. Mine drop is moving in. It does take a lot of hits, a lot of volleys. Widowmine drop is denied. And Clem, he's going for Cloak Banshee as a follow-up. Okay. Building up into Cloak Banshee. Hellion Reaper does not find a way in. Ken Max is going for a much later expand. Oh, does end up catching a Reaper. Reaper goes down. Behind this, MaxPax will expand. Again, that's a bit of a later expansion, but still going for it. And Clem, he should be able to defend here. Sure, MaxPax has a Warp Prism, he can reinforce, he has high ground vision as well. MaxPax is supply blocked. Just now breaking out. But the tank is ready, and Max... Oh, he blinks in! Yeah, bold blink. Does take 2 volleys to the face. MaxPax has to be careful. Gets behind the mineral line. He's out of range of the tank. And 4 Stalkers, they one-shot SCVs. Yeah, they one-shot 5 SCVs, 6 SCVs going down. Very nice damage here by MaxPax. He gets away with the tank once again and gets even more economic damage. Same time, Reaper Hellion at the 3rd. The Banshee's headed towards the main base. And do we have detection? It's just yes. Banshee has arrived at detections in position, and the Banshee gets 1, gets 2, gets 3 probe kills, gets up to maybe 5. Oh, barely 5. 5 probes go down. This is okay damage. If only Clem hadn't lost 11 SCVs. Got the Banshee towards the natural. So we go back in. Get a handful of SCVs. Just a handful. As that's going to be 9 dead workers. 9 probes going down from MaxPax. A pretty successful Banshee. Oh, that, never mind. I was going to say successful Banshee harass, but the Banshees are getting picked off. And Clemmy just sends it. Yeah, he just sends it across the map. 2 more Maxes, no 3rd CC. Oh, bit of miscontrol. Yeah, massive miscontrol out of MaxPax. And the boys are being pulled. Here we go. Clem is going for the 2-base all-in. MaxPax bleeds out a lot of Stalkers. And this is it. This is Clem's moment. Just all in, papi. Send it. Oh, Storm is ready. Uh-oh. How many High Templar? 1. Only 1 High Templar. If he had more Storms, then maybe. Oh, the tanks are caught unsieged. Yeah, tanks are getting caught out. Here comes a Storm. 1 tank falls, he gets 1, he gets 2, he gets all 3 tanks. Wow, a very impressive defense. All 3 tanks go down. Doesn't even use the Storm, and MaxPax, he shuts down the all-in. MaxPax takes a lead. Wow, GG. Things were lining up. I wasn't blaming Clem at all for committing there, but He got caught out. He lost 3 tanks for nothing there. 3 tanks went down. He had no support for the tanks. The Marines and SCVs were behind the tanks instead. And without the tanks, there was nothing there. GG. GG, well played. So Clem, he did fumble the assault. He fumbled the attack and lost everything in the process. And now MaxPax is 1 game away from claiming the series. GG. GG, well played. Want to amass 1 more game. And if Clem is going for 2 base all-ins on Tokamak, then they're going to continue. They will continue here. Speaking of continuing all-ins, this map screams all-in. We're loading into Pylon. Now, we did mention how on the smaller maps we favor Clem. On maps like Ultralove, on maps like Pylon. Guess what? Up next, we're loading into Pylon. This is a much smaller map in the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. If Clem were to go for an all-in, they do hit harder, they do hit different on Pylon. Not saying that they work 100% of the time, but you know, they have that added bonus, that benefit of the map itself. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Leading the series 2-1, 1 game away from becoming this week's champion. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, can he bounce back and force the ace match? It is a Clem. Clem. Here we go. As we are getting into our game number 4, and the pressure is very much so on Clem. Oh boy. Now, when it comes to different all-ins, when it comes to different committed builds, there's a wide variety of them. There are these early kind of Beyond pushes with Stimless Marines, where you go for early tanks and Banshees. There are these earlier stim timings you can go for as well. For now, double gas. Double gas, which means a faster factory, faster starport. Last game, this led into a Widowmine drop, followed by the Banshee tank play. The Banshees, they did some economic damage. It is unfortunate that they went down as they were harassing. They killed a decent amount of pros, but alas, they weren't a part of the fight. We'll see what Clem goes for this time. As, ooh, MaxPax is going to be locked in. He does get a full scouts, but is trapped in here with Clem. May have to go for the recall. Yep, there it is. There's a recall back home. Does save the probe. For those who are curious, it is more efficient to save that worker with a recall instead of using a chrono. So it saves a probe. Does pull out. Yo, Este Geralt. Hey guys, may I make a small announcement about StarCraft 2 tournaments in Philadelphia? Sure. Este Geralt, of course. The SC for All tournaments. If you're referring to our Discord server, then yes, yeah. You can go for it. For those who are unaware, Philadelphia has partnered with the SC Historian. They partnered together to bring together the SC for All tournaments. We most likely going to be a part of the broadcast. I'm not saying that I say most likely. We have been a part of the Philadelphia casts in the past. So we're probably going to be like the B stream or a side stream. But yes, big event happening in Philadelphia. And really cool to see this. Not just StarCraft, it's also Brood War as well. And also StarCraft 64. I think that's got a lot of hype around it. The StarCraft 64 like portion of the tournament. It's gonna be crazy. Ah, no. The controllers are gonna be thrown. They're gonna be thrown all over the place. Not like this. For now, we do have our 1-1-1 setup. To have our initial marine drop across the map, getting into the bases. It's only one widow mine. Ideally, you want the mine to zone away the stalkers and marines to just go ham in the mineral line. Boys are being pulled. How's the Maestro going to be? And Maestro goes up, does pull away, and does catch a stalker. Yeah, one stalker goes down, 4 probe kills. We get some decent damage here by Clem. And Clem is pushing. Like, Clem is committed, he's all in, and we have tanks rallying, we have Vikings rallying as well. It's all or nothing for Clem, and so far he's not being slowed down. And we spoke about it earlier, the rush distance by ground is very short on this map. The army's already here. Clem, he's already arrived. Once again, the win condition, go for the pylon and depower the robo and make sure there's no immortal. Pylon goes down. Oh, Prism is denied. MaxPax going for the dive, gets a tank. Yeah, takes down the tank, bleeds out a couple of probes, he can afford to lose them. And MaxPax will defend. Wow, MaxPax, he will defend, he shuts us down. It will cost him 12 workers though. That's a lot of economic damage. But he lives. Behind this Clem, he can macro, by the way. He can macro out of this. He does have a worker lead. More Max is on the way. But again, has it been enough damage? As the Prism has arrived, MaxPax has high ground vision. He can always dive into the main. There are 2 tanks, one covering the natural, one in the main base. Tanks are in position. MaxPax, he's going for the dive. He dives on the tank, gets one. Yeah, tank goes down, massive pickup. And Clem, it looks like he will barely hold on. Does mass repair. Bunker holds. Another tank has arrived. Meanwhile, MaxPax is still going for it, by the way. He's still going. Going for the gas. Rotating into the main. But again, there is a tank in position. Yeah, tank volley goes up. MaxPax going to be zoned away, losing a stalker. Now, does he have enough stalkers to go for Sim? Or to go for the tank itself? He will. No, it's on siege. Yeah, brutal on siege. Tank does fall. These are vanilla marines, and with good enough control here, thankfully another tank does barely arrive in time, but the marines are going down, and MaxPax can just blink in. Or can he? Yeah, it does wing forward. Takes out the tank once again, but he does not have enough stalkers. And Clem is holding. Clem is holding on. This is very committed play here by MaxPax. And there's no expansion. Yeah, MaxPax, he'll lose everything. And there's no third base for MaxPax either. He forced himself all in. He never expanded. No third. GG. GG gets called. And Clem, he will tie up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew, let's go. Yeah, GG, well played. Clem, he does survive the counterattack, does defend. MaxPax, he had the option to try to expand or to commit to the aggression as well. He was getting some nice pickoffs with tanks, but alas, did lose everything in the process. And he had no economy behind it, right? He had no expansion, he had no base, no follow-up. I'm sure he felt pressured to be all in because he lost so many probes in the defense. He lost 12 workers trying to hold on to the natural. And now it all ends here. It all ends on Maganatha. Let's go. Let us go. In the SC in StarCraft 64, controls is a gender's term. True, true. There's a World Tournament happening in Philadelphia. The organizers had to help players cover their costs and opened a voting. Oh, true, true. I forgot about that. That's what you were promoting. Yes, yes. There is a voting. There's like a voting period available. Let's go. Let's go. There you go. But yes, we spoke about this during the podcast, but if you're out there, you can vote for which players you want to see like their travel expenses paid for to go to the Americas and to compete in the tournament. I would say that it is a little bit better to vote for international players just because it benefits them more so than like the local talent. So people like Mixu, Geralt, Percival, SOS, true. They will benefit the most from that. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into the A smash. We're getting into game number 5, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, and also proxying across the map, we have the French Terran. We have the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. Apparently God is fighting hard against Gypsy. I mean, Gypsy, he's like, if I'm not mistaken, is he the only Brood War player that you can vote for? So I'm sure the Brood War scene, like they're like supporting Gypsy hard because he's the only Brood War option, right? Which I feel like isn't fair. I feel like they should have some other Brood War players here as well, but I'm sure the Brood War community is getting behind him. Whereas the StarCraft community, they're kind of split between the other players, right? As Clem is going for the proxy racks into proxy Reaper, the bunker is going to be thrown down, and we'll see if the bunker can get up and running. As MaxPax, he's aware. Highland is done. We should be setting up a shield battery. And the battery's on the way. SCV is going to be denied. Very nice damage on the SCV, by the way. Will delay the bunker quite heavily, actually. Yeah, bunker is going to be denied. And with that, MaxPax defends. Does defend quite nicely. Reaper's racing back home to deal with the probe. And do you see what I see? We're going for a factory and a start, but we're going for a very delayed expansion. So very late CC. I mean, MaxPax, he at least scouts that there's nothing on the low ground. CC just now beginning, but that's going to be after the starport. Okay. Here you go. From here, Clem going to be rallying in. Does catch a first Stalker. Shield battery is not done. Very nice catch. Oh, as the first shield battery was cancelled, actually. Ah, I see. First battery was cancelled. But it's going to get cleaned up. MaxPax, he defends. Does defend, getting into Blink. We'll see how greedy he's going to be. Does he go 2-gate Blink or 3? We have the answer here. As Robo is going to be thrown down. Still relatively safe going for the Robo before the Nexus. Relatively safe. As it's been quite a chaotic start. Late expansion for Clem. He was able to deal some damage across the map, but not much economic damage. That up scouts the mineral line. Ooh, gets shut down by the Widow Mine. Very nice bait out of Clem. And he goes for the drop. Unfortunately, there's no Marines, as there's been no bioproduction. So the Stalker just moves in and gets an SCV. Nice pick off here by MaxPax. Very opportunistic. Yeah, the Widowmine drop is going to be delayed. Stalker will not escape. Stalkers, they attempt to intercept. They will. Este MaxPax. I mean, Blink is done. And the Widowmine drop does not get across the map. Okay. Behind this is still in 2 gateways, so MaxPax, he is just now throwing down a 3rd gateway. Okay. 3rd gateway is on the way. War Prism has arrived. It's getting across the map. I see Ridden Alice in the chat. CranKy Ducklings is the name of our group, our organization. I'm Live VIP. But I don't get to stream too often anymore. I guess we'll get into it after, as the drop is coming in. Okay, what do I drop into the main? Oh. Nice target firing, gets one of the Widow Mines. One mine goes down. So nice defense here by MaxPax. Gets across the map as well. And we'll see if Clem doubles down. We're waiting to see, does Clem throw down another set of Raxes? Does he commit into a 2-base all-in? It's literally all we've seen out of Clem this entire series. No. As the medevac gets caught. And for the first time this series, we get a third TC. Clem, he's expanding. Okay. Third base out of Clem. He's macroing back. Yeah, he's crazy. Now, as we slow things down, as Clem is looking to expand, MaxPax also has a later expansion as well, so we're kind of stumbling our way into the mid-game here, as MaxPax did delay his base, as he prioritized charge, storm, extra gateways. So he gains momentum. This exclamation mark light in the chat. True, true. But yeah, I used to stream a little more often, but nowadays I just don't really have as much time. If you want to tune into my ladder sessions, I do stream over my personal channel, not on this channel. We keep the CranKy Ducklings only for tournaments, only for casting and for like team content. I do stream over on my personal Twitch channel instead. And I ladder like once a month, once every 2 months. Like, no time, baby, no time. I peaked at like 4.6k, I think 4.6k MMR, something like that. I think it was beginning of the year, if not end of last year, where I did peak and I did hit GM for the first time. But after that, basically, if you remember, I did play a show match against Zombie Grub like a couple of months ago, and I was grinding hard for that. And after that show match, I stopped laddering. Like, it's been very sporadic since then. So I'm very rusty nowadays. Zerg player. But if you want to watch my show match against Zombie Grub, it's on Rotterdam's channel. It's on his YouTube channel. I played in a Basilisk Big Brain Bouts. It was a lot of fun. We had a caster show match. As MaxPax does get into the main. And now it does distract. Massing out more storms. And behind this, going into Colossus. We have been seeing players like Classic and herO prioritize Colossus production instead of Storm. Here we can see MaxPax doing the opposite. Storm first, followed by the Colossi. And again, he has a little more freedom, especially on Maganatha. Zoning back the army. And delaying Clem. As MaxPax rotating behind Clem here. Oh, he wants the tanks. Oh no! Yeah, tanks are caught unsieged. Okay, they do siege up. Thankfully, they do siege in time. MaxPax rotating over towards a third. Still holding on to a lot of storms. Ooh, one Templar goes down. One Templar falls at the same time. Massive Zealot counterattack, but he runs into a wall. Storms are zoning away. Ooh, harassing Storm as well. Clem having some rough trades. Getting a forward. And remember, Clem, he's stuck at home and he wanted to be active. He wanted to be across the map. He was pushing and he's just stuck at home with the tanks. Yeah, tanks are exposed. They'll take it on top of the tanks. They're all going to go down. All three tanks full. Oof. And the storms are brutal. Oh god, he stands in the storms. Yeah, brutal losses there for Clem. Bleeding out his tanks, his bio. MaxPax freely getting a fourth base behind this and maintaining map control. That's what's important here, is that MaxPax is containing Clem, keeping him defensive while MaxPax expands. Another Zealot run by. Main army's pushing in. Once again, just keeping Clem busy. And even if MaxPax trades inefficiently, it's fine because he has a better economy. So he can afford to trade out some Zealots, trade out some Stalkers. Not too much, of course. Nice Storm. Storm connects. Widow Mines go down. Ghosts are exposed. Getting a Ghost as well. And Zelsa hit the mineral line. Yeah, they hit the natural. Storms once again, they zone away. The Bio Army cannot engage. There's one Storm left. Nice, very nice EMP. EMP connects, no more Storms. Clem taking his fourth. I see the chat. Live status schedule, only similar to his sleep schedule. Once every 2 months. True, true. Smooch. I did have a lot of stream yesterday though. I streamed a little bit yesterday, but I'm very rusty. Like walls of red were real. That's okay. It's what we expect. As MaxPax is just pulling Clem apart, going for a massive warp into the main. The ghosts are exploding. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 ghosts going down, losing everything. Every ghost falls. Ay, ay, ay. A brutal fight for Clem, as he'll lose all the ghosts. Zelsa get into the main, going for another warp in, and Clem is just being overrun. He's being overwhelmed. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Congratulations to MaxPax again. We were, for the first time this series, we were actually gearing up into the mid game, but Clem, alas, he was getting caught out as he tried to be aggressive, tried to be active. MaxPax was doing such a great job at engaging with the army, at slowing him down, forcing Clem to be more defensive, and it all led into that brutal final fight as well, where Clem, his ghosts were in front of his army, they were forward, which means that was 5 ghosts going down instantly. The ghosts were the first things to fall as the Colossus moved in, as Clem was distracted by the warp in the main. Clem was distracted, and MaxPax just pulled him apart. GG. GG, well played. But again, it was just a really rough start for Clem, just because Clem, he lost a lot of map control early on that he wasn't meant to. Like, he was meant to be the aggressor, he was meant to be active, and he lost that map control early, so it was just a really shaky start for Clem. Just stuck at home. GG. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations to MaxPax, as just claimed the series. He's going to be our champion. Congratulations here. My condolences to Clem, but again, Clem, he does have typically a back and forth history with MaxPax. They do often trade, they trade blows, they go back and forth. I'm sure Clem will have another opportunity to get his revenge during the Monday night weeklies, during the other Open Cups, as they're both regulars in the Open Cup circuit. They are both regulars. But here we go. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, when it comes to the rest of our broadcast, we are going to be live again tomorrow with the patches, with the patch bash. This is another tournament featuring the TLMC maps, the Team Liquid map contest maps. I'm a little bit unfortunate that this week Wardy did not update his map pool. I'm a little bit disappointed there that Wardy, he didn't update. Hopefully he will do so later on this week. Again, we've been running and hosting TLMC maps for the past 3, maybe 4 weeks at this point, and we should be featuring them tomorrow during the patch bash as well. Likewise, we have Pickerstar Cup on Wednesday, we have the Pongcast on Thursday, WardiTV Monday on Friday. Wardy, he's hosting 2 WardiTV Mondays this week, just as a heads up. So one on Monday, one on Friday. We have MSO on Saturday, and we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. This weekend we also do have, what is that Sunday morning? I didn't even know. I did. Hold on. All right, that's the SC2 Safe House. Of course. We have the StarCraft 2 Safe House. That's this weekend? Jesus. Okay, that is going to be this weekend, and we are going to be a part of that cast as well. We're going to be the B stream for the StarCraft 2 Safe House. That is a big event happening over in Vegas, over in the Americas, with Zombergub, with Nathanius, with Fear Dragon, Chicken Man, with Steadfast, and all the other NA talent. They're all coming together to host an event over in the Americas. The event is going to be online, but the venue is going to be offline, if that makes sense. The cast itself, like all the casters are going to be coming together. They're going to be renting an Airbnb in Vegas. And they're going to be creating a bunch of content. They'll be like playing poker and having drinking games, and they're going to be having fun, of course, that like home story cup vibe is kind of the go-to, what they're going for. And of course, they're crowdfunding as well. If they get enough crowdfunding, ideally in the future, they do want to actually have players go to the event as well, but you know, we're still like stepping stones, right? It's still like baby steps here. They're kind of working on that scene, working on that talent, and they're slowly growing. Of course, they'll get there. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, our next cast is going to be the patch bash. We might push that back a little bit just because this event did end quite late, and yeah, I don't know how much sleep I'm going to be able to get in time. I'll do my best. Do my best. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time, and we'll see you guys later on tomorrow for our next cast for the Patches Patch Bash. See you then, Pappy, see you then. Otherwise, if you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via our Patreon. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments. We do run tournaments on a weekly basis, and we have been featuring the new map pool the entire time, by the way. We also have like monthly finals as well. You can see our Patreon just under the schedule. We do currently earn 563 USD a month, and the next goal is at 670 USD. That's to boost the prize pool even further, to help us grow our tournaments, and the end goal is to be able to host monthlies on a regular basis. Right now we are hosting monthlies up until December. A very generous donator in the chat did donate $2,000, and that has allowed us to host these monthly tournaments for the next 4 months. So September, October, November, December, $500 monthlies. That's where all the 2K has been placed in those monthly tournaments. And if we can grow our Patreon even further, then we can organically just have that as a part of our regular broadcasting and our regular tournament schedule, if we can grow our Patreon. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Until then, ciao, papi, ciao, hasta luego. See you next time.